Chapter 1828. Tiandao's Sacred Academy was a place covered in dust. Usually no one would be able to enter. But now the entrance to this place was opened. The three heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy led many experts from the supreme ancient immortal realms here. Up ahead in the air, a supreme Tao might could be felt. It was like a tribulation of heavenly Tao. Wind and clouds howled as lightning flashed. It was like the scene of doomsday. However, in this terrifying scene, one could faintly see a sacred ground at the end of the tribulation. Is this the legendary place? The heavenly deities of the various powers stared at the sacred ground. Even as heavenly deities, they had only heard of the legends and had never entered before. Although there were rumors that the Tiandao Sacred Academy only allowed core disciples to enter, they knew that even within the Tiandao Sacred Academy, no one had ever entered before. Now, the headmaster of the Tiandao Sacred Academy must have entered the legendary place before. It was rumored that it was extremely difficult to reach the other side of the legendary place. One had to undergo tribulation to reach it. It was rumored that there were some extremely terrifying existences sealed within. Its history even surpassed the history of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. This is the entrance to the legendary place. Everyone, if you all wish to enter, feel free to do so. Since everyone in the world says that our Heavenly Tao Sacred Academy is selfish and unworthy of the name of imparting knowledge, we shall open the sacred gate today. The life-governed heavenly deity spoke. It's just that I have to remind everyone that the three of us have never entered before. The headmaster once reminded us that although the three of us are heavenly deities, if we enter, our Tao hearts might become unstable and we might lose our foundations. If you all wish to enter, feel free to do so, but you will have to bear the consequences. Since the sacred gate has been opened, as heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, how can we not enter? A heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court spoke, his expression sharp. Tao friend Ziwei must be joking. We originally didn't have any plans to enter. Today, it was the Ziwei Divine Court and many other powers that strongly requested our Tiandao Sacred Academy to open the gate to the sacred ground. Now that my Tiandao Sacred Academy has done so, could it be that you want me to accompany you all in? The life-governed heavenly deity coldly laughed. The eyes of the heavenly deity from the Ziwei Divine Court gleamed with coldness as wariness flashed in his eyes. Since this is the case, the people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy can enter first. If you wanted to come, you would have been the ones forcing it. Yet now you're acting so cowardly and cowardly. You're disgracing our divine might. The life-governed heavenly deity mocked. He turned his gaze to the disciples of Tiandao Sacred Academy. You guys can enter. No matter what happens, there's no need to be too shocked. Just remember what I said to you all. Yes. Everyone nodded. The group of people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy walked forward. Qin Wentian, Divine Sound, Jianshan, Devilox and the other geniuses from the Tiandao Sacred Academy were among them. They walked towards the sacred ground step by step. In the air, a terrifying Tao might bore down on them, engulfing them within. An irresistible force directly penetrated their bodies. This was the Tao might of an inconceivable deity. There was no way to break it. Qin Wentian was among them as well. He only felt a supreme might descending upon him, wanting to destroy everything he originally had. It was like he was undergoing a baptism. He wanted to struggle, but he was powerless to do so. A voice that seemed to originate from the primordial era rang out in his mind. After that, his body was engulfed by the void, vanishing from sight. My Tiandao Sacred Academy wouldn't harm our disciples, right? Everyone, please enter. However, I have to remind you all again. No matter what happens, you all have to bear the consequences. Don't blame the blame on my Tiandao Sacred Academy. All heavenly deities have already obtained the heavenly Tao. I advise you all to be more cautious and not enter. The life-governed heavenly deity continued. I truly want to see what sort of power this is. Qin Dangtian stepped out. His long robes fluttered in the wind as a halo of Tao surrounded him. Many ancient characters contained an unexcelled Tao might within them. The disciples of the Qin clan followed behind him, stepping into the Tao might. In an instant, the Tao might bore down on Qin Dangtian. Qin Dangtian's body abruptly soared up into the air as the ancient characters around him radiated frenziedly. rushing towards the might of the heavenly Tao. However, a divine energy that couldn't be profaned appeared in the air, engulfing everything. The ancient characters within them were all destroyed. Even though they contained the great Tao, a powerful might ignored the ancient characters and penetrated Qin Dongtian's body. At this moment, Qin Dongtian's expression drastically changed. "You want to cripple my Tao?" He did his best to resist, releasing the power of his bloodline as the might of his Tao bone erupted forth. In an instant, his divine Tao grew even stronger. Many ancient characters wanted to fuse into one, protecting him. At the same time, a gigantic ancient character of Kill manifested in the air, soaring up into the sky, wanting to destroy the heavenly Tao. As for the people of the Qin clan, they were already powerless to resist. Their bodies vanished, leaving only Qin Dongtian standing proudly in the air, as though he was fighting against the heavenly Tao. This scene was extremely breathtaking, causing many world overlords to feel a sense of longing in their hearts. Even for heavenly deities, they couldn't help but sigh in admiration at how powerful Qin Dongtian was. But even so, it was useless. In the air, several inconceivable waves of divine might manifested. It was like heaven and earth were angered. A beam of light pierced through the air, directly penetrating through the ancient characters and shooting towards Qin Dongtian. A terrifying beam of light radiated forth, causing the heavens and earth to be destroyed. After that, everyone only saw Qin Dongtian actually retreating. His aura fluctuated, but his eyes were filled with disdain as he stared ahead. If the Tiandao Sacred Academy dares to plot against the people of the immortal realms, it will definitely be razed to flat ground. Qin Dongtian stared at the life-governed heavenly deity as he spoke. "How laughable! You are the one who wants to enter, but you don't dare to. You even dare to threaten my sacred academy. No matter how powerful the Qin clan is, if they want to destroy the sacred academy, how would your Qin clan be able to live in peace?" The life-governed heavenly deity coldly spoke. Qin Dongtian coldly snorted. Before this, he really wanted to enter the legendary place to take a look. But now that the Tiandao Sacred Academy has truly opened its doors, he actually felt some trepidation. Earlier, that surge of energy wanted to destroy his Tao. Why don't he first observe the people who want to enter the Sacred Academy before deciding if he wants to enter or not? For heavenly deities, their Taos have already been formed. They naturally wouldn't take risks easily. When the various heavenly deities saw that Qin Dongtian didn't want to enter, they brought their world overlords over and entered as well. Many experts had wariness in their hearts as they stepped into the tempest. After that, all of them vanished from sight. "Lair, do you really want to enter?" An elder of the Luoshan clan asked Luoshan Lei. Luoshan Lei nodded. Her gaze was filled with determination. Although her cultivation base was weaker compared to the others, this was a chance for her to enter no matter what. The person who crippled her father was already so powerful, she mustn't rely on others. She needed to enter the legendary place of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. For the experts of the 8 regions, other than heavenly deities, all the geniuses and world overlords of the 8 regions entered. They had no idea what sort of place the legendary place of the Heavenly Tao Sacred Academy was, and what would be waiting for them there. After Qin Wentian entered, he felt an uncontrollable energy invading his body. In an instant, everything about him seemed to vanish into nothingness. His cultivation base, everything vanished in an instant. After that, he felt that he had entered another world. In this place, he suddenly had many memories. He was born in this world and grew up in this world. This place was the world of reincarnation. In the world of reincarnation, on a majestic palace, Qin Wentian stood with his hands clasped behind his back. He was still the same as he was in the past. In fact, his past memories and insights were all present. It was just that his cultivation base and astral souls were gone. In the world of reincarnation, he could sense many different types of attribute energies. In fact, he didn't even need to rely on astral souls. From the time he was born until now, only an instant had passed. However, those memories truly existed. It was like he had just arrived in this world, but now, there were several tens of years of memories in his mind. Qin Wentian's name in the world of reincarnation was still Qin Wentian. He was born in the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan. The dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan had 2 branches and they were equal in power. What's going on exactly? What sort of place is the legendary place exactly? Qin Wentian asked himself. Although the heavenly deity of the Tiandao Sacred Academy reminded him not to be shocked no matter what happened, how could he not be shocked? He had clearly just entered the legendary place, but he already had several tens of years of memories in his mind. It was like he was someone who grew up here. Could the world of reincarnation be the legendary place? You must have many questions on your mind right now, right? At this moment, a voice suddenly rang out in Qin Wentian's mind. His eyes gleamed with sharpness as he stared in the air. Who is it? This place is the world of reincarnation. I'm a deity who was sealed here. Now that the world of reincarnation has been opened, many of you have already entered. Next, all of you need to grow stronger quickly and eliminate your opponents in the world of reincarnation. You are born in the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan and have a heavenly advantage. Do you need me to help you? The voice contained hints of bewitchment. Qin Wentian furrowed his brows. A deity who was sealed in the world of reincarnation? Was the legendary place the world of reincarnation? To think that a deity was actually sealed in this place. How can you help me? Qin Wentian asked. I'll impart to you the Tao of cultivation. That ethereal voice rang out in Qin Wentian's mind again. What Tao? Qin Wentian asked again. After that, a formless energy directly entered his mind. Qin Wentian frowned. It was actually the Tao of men and women, borrowing the power of women to improve himself. Qin Wentian shook his head. I don't know how to cultivate this Tao. Haha, you don't have to come to a conclusion so early. I know that there are several other supreme beauties who entered the world of reincarnation. Could it be that you are not moved by them? That voice was filled with evil as it continued. In the future, if you cultivate it, I will naturally appear again. Qin Wentian frowned. This evil existence sealed in the world of reincarnation actually knew of all the people who entered the world of reincarnation. In that case, wouldn't he be able to find others as well? Even if he didn't cultivate, there would be others who would. In addition, there might be other existences sealed in the world of reincarnation. Young master, young master. At this moment, an agitated voice rang out. A serving girl dashed over, clearly extremely agitated. Chou-Yu, what's the matter? Qin Wentian asked. In his memories, this serving girl's name was Chou-Yu and she had taken care of him for several years. Young Master Nikhang, Miss Nikhang is here. Chou-Yu called out in agitation. Qin Wentian's expression froze. Nikhang? Goddess Nikhang? In the world of reincarnation, could it be that he was going to encounter someone he knew? In that case, if this was really Goddess Nikhang, what role did she play in the world of reincarnation? Chapter 1829. Qin Wentian followed the serving girl Autumn Rain and came to a great hall. There were people chatting and the middle-aged man sitting in the host seat was none other than Qin Wentian's father in the world of reincarnation, Qin Rahai. In fact, in Qin Wentian's heart, there was a faint trace of familial love. He knew that this was given to him by the memories of the past tens of years. Those memories were equivalent to him living in this world for tens of years. Below him there were 2 guests. One of them exuded magnificence and was so beautiful that it caused people to feel stifled. When Qin Wentian saw her, his gaze froze. Goddess Nikhang, it was actually Goddess Nikhang. Goddess Nikhang also saw Qin Wentian, but her beautiful eyes were calm. At this moment Qin Rahai spoke. Wentian, quickly come over and greet Uncle Chu. Qin Wentian hesitated a little. But when he thought that since he was already in the world of reincarnation, he should accept it and treat this as a tempering experience. He walked up and called out to the middle-aged man, Uncle Chu, not bad. The middle-aged man nodded and smiled. This is Nikhang, her age is similar to Wentian's. What do you think of her appearance? Qin Wentian glanced at Goddess Nikhang and felt a little strange. But he still replied, her appearance can shock the world. This sentence isn't considered an exaggeration. It's just a pity that Nikhang is the same as you, unable to cultivate even now. The middle-aged man spoke with some regret. Nikhang, you and Wentian should go out for a walk. I haven't met your Uncle Qin for many years and I have some things to talk about. Goddess Nikhang stood up and calmly glanced at Qin Wentian. After that she walked out. Qin Wentian followed behind her. The serving girl stood outside, and when she saw her young master walking out with Nikhang, a smile appeared on her face and she didn't disturb them. The two of them came to an empty space where a gentle breeze blew. Neither of them spoke. Regardless of Qin Wentian or Goddess Nikhang, both of them were still adapting to their new identities. My real name is Chu Nikhang. Goddess Nikhang suddenly spoke. Her beautiful eyes slowly turned to Qin Wentian as curiosity flashed in her eyes. She then asked, "Why are you from the dual faction Qin aristocrat clan?" "How would I know?" Qin Wentian replied. From this sentence, he could be sure that Goddess Nikhang was the same as him, entering the world of reincarnation from the outside world. The dual faction Qin aristocrat clan is equally famous. Their ancestors were a pair of blood brothers. If the world of reincarnation truly has a connection with the outside world, one of the dual faction Qin aristocrat clan should be the Qin clan. Coincidentally, my grandfather was acquainted with someone from the Qin clan. If the world of reincarnation is connected to the outside world, then Goddess Nichang's beautiful eyes gleamed with light. If this was the case, Qin Wentian was also born in the Qin clan? Perhaps all of this is just an illusion. The reason why I was born in the Qin clan is because my surname is Qin. Qin Wentian replied. But in truth, great waves rose in his heart when he heard Goddess Nichang's words. Could the world of reincarnation truly have a connection with the outside world? Goddess Nikhang glanced at Qin Wentian when she heard his words. After that, she turned and departed. Maybe this was a coincidence. With regards to Qin Wentian, she didn't have a deep impression of him. She only knew that he came from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian stared at Goddess Nichang's back as a look of contemplation appeared on his face. If there really was a connection between the two worlds, wasn't the creator of the world of reincarnation too terrifying? He even knew about fate and knew that Qin Wentian was from the Qin clan. He started to ponder about cultivation again. He could clearly sense the energy in this world. The various attribute energies were all extremely dense, especially for the attribute energies he had cultivated before. They were like motes of light floating around him. This indicated that he would be able to swiftly form a connection with them and start his path of cultivation. According to his memories, the martial path in the world of reincarnation was completely different from the outside world. There were Hotian realm, Xiantian realm, and deity realm. The dual faction Qin aristocrat clan was a deity realm power. If the world of reincarnation is truly a test, I have to improve myself first in this world. Qin Wentian silently mused. After that, he headed to the scripture depository of his clan. Although he had tens of years of memories, he didn't have much in terms of cultivation. He needed to improve himself as quickly as possible. Qin Wentian browsed through the ancient scrolls in the scripture depository as he started his cultivation. 3 months later in the Qin clan, Qin Wentian sat on a cultivation platform. His entire body shone with light as various attribute energies manifested. The energy of heaven and earth resonated with his body, forming a golden, indestructible body that towered up into the clouds. The phenomenon here alarmed the people in the clan. Many people glanced over, and when they saw Qin Wentian's body resonating with the heavens and earth, they all had looks of shock on their faces. My son has supreme talent. Qin Rahai's voice trembled. Young master comprehended the Tao in a single day and broke through to the Xiantian realm. The beautiful eyes of the serving girl Autumn Rain went into a daze. In the past, she had only heard of such a legend, but she didn't expect that it would actually happen before her eyes. She felt like she was in a dream. Qin Wentian opened his eyes. He could sense the energy in his body, as well as the compatibility he had with the energy of heaven and earth. His expression was as calm as usual. The Xiantian realm was equivalent to the Immortal Realm, Immortal Foundation, and Immortal King Realm. Right now, Qin Wentian was already comparable to a world overlord. In this mysterious world of reincarnation, it wasn't difficult for him to comprehend the Tao in a single day. Given his own strength, he believed that many people would be able to do it. The energy in the world of reincarnation was very wondrous. It was different from before. There was no need for one to cultivate step by step. This seemed to be a transformation of energy, transforming the insights one gained in the external world into the energy of one's cultivation base in the world of reincarnation. The news of Qin Wentian breaking through to the Xiantian realm in a single day circulated through the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan. In that faction, there were 3 people from the external world who came to the world of reincarnation. All of them were from the Qin clan and have already been in the world of reincarnation for several months. They naturally heard of Qin Wentian's name and felt somewhat unhappy in their hearts. Although Qin Wentian had some fame in the convention of the myriad realms in the mystic region, what qualifications did he have to be born in the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan like them? In addition, they had interacted with goddess Nikhang before. Goddess Nichang's father had also brought her here to pay a visit. In the external world, they could only look up to the number 1 beauty of the heaven region, goddess Nikhang. Maybe, only the heaven son of their clan would have the qualifications to covet her. They didn't dare to have any improper thoughts, but in this world, the heaven's son didn't exist. They were the core members of the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan because their hearts were stirring. The 3 of them also knew the importance of cultivation. They comprehended the martial Tao in the world of reincarnation, and very soon, they were the same as Qin Wentian, breaking through to the Xiantian realm in a single day, causing a huge commotion in the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan. Today, the 3 of them gathered together and bewitched their elders, preparing to eliminate the other faction of the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan. In the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan, the other faction was originally the most powerful. Also, the 2 factions had long been unhappy with each other. Upon hearing the bewitching words of their juniors, the people of the other faction all agreed. Hence, Qin Wentian, who was still quietly cultivating in his clan, suddenly felt the might of doomsday. "Elder brother, what do you mean by this?" Qin Wentian's father, Qin Ruhai, soared into the air as he coldly spoke. At this moment, this faction was already surrounded by the other factions. Qin Ruhai, the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan doesn't sound good. Are you all willing to join my faction? From now on, there will only be a single Qin clan in this world. An expert stared below as he spoke. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. History was actually so shocking. Was it going to play out in this world of reincarnation? "Elder brother, aren't you going too far by doing this?" Qin Ruhai roared. The expert in the air had a cold expression on his face. He waved his hand, and a moment later, an army descended from the sky. An internal battle between the 2 Qin aristocrat clans had erupted from here. Qin Wentian felt an indescribable feeling in his heart. He didn't expect that in this world of reincarnation, history would repeat itself. In the air, the 3 experts from the Qin clan who came from the outside world coldly stared at Qin Wentian. After that, their figures flashed as they rushed towards Qin Wentian. Although Qin Wentian wanted to protect his clan, he knew that his current cultivation base was simply insufficient. His silhouette flashed as he sped away like a great rock. Behind him, screams of agony and misery rang out unceasingly. Although Qin Wentian didn't have deep feelings for the Qin aristocrat clan, his heart was cold and filled with an intense killing intent. A world overlord from the Qin clan directly acted against him. Bzz. A figure as majestic as a mountain stood before Qin Wentian, blocking his pursuers. This person was none other than Qin Ruhai. He inclined his head and spoke, "Wentian, let's go." Qin Wentian stared at that majestic back view as his heart stirred. He clenched his fists tightly, causing crisp cracking sounds to ring out. "Go, remember to take revenge." Qin Ruhai roared in rage. Qin Wentian decisively turned and fled into the distance. Behind him, screams of agony rang out unceasingly. The place he grew up in the world of reincarnation was currently being slaughtered and razed to flat ground. Everything felt like a dream. He also truly felt the cruelty of the world of reincarnation. The disciples of the Qin clan wanted to kill him. These people had the same bloodline as him. In the world of reincarnation, the dual-faction Qin aristocrat clan was annihilated, and their clan was razed to flat ground. At this moment, this news shocked the entire world of reincarnation. Although Qin Wentian was fleeing for his life, he felt a torment in his heart. He actually chose to leave just like that? Was it because he didn't truly treat the people here as his family? However, they actually treated him as their closest kin. Qin Wentian felt agony in his heart. Those 3 experts from the Qin clan, their silhouettes flashed through Qin Wentian's mind as his killing intent grew sharper. Qin Wentian had extraordinary experiences in the world of reincarnation. But there were others who experienced things even more painful than him. Yu Changkong. When he entered the world of reincarnation, his identity was a disciple of the moon god Hall. However, because he couldn't cultivate, he was banished to the streets and suffered all sorts of humiliation. In fact, even beggars would humiliate him and beat him up. When Yu Changkong was in the Ziwei Divine Court, he already had an inhumane experience. He endured it and silently sensed the energy of heaven and earth. Until today, when the night sky was as dark as ink, a group of beggars returned. When they saw Yu Changkong sitting there, they spat at him. Some of them kicked him while cursing trash. Yu Changkong opened his eyes. At this moment, his eyes were deathly gray and cold to the extreme. His gaze instantly caused the beggars' hearts to tremble violently. After that, Yu Changkong opened his mouth and abruptly inhaled. A terrifying devouring energy manifested, causing those beggars to sink into a state of extreme terror. Their essence, chi, and souls were being devoured frenziedly. Their entire bodies rapidly withered and finally, they transformed into a pile of bones. Chapter 1830. Yu Changkong returned to the moon god Hall, the place where he was born in the world of reincarnation. After his father learned that Yu Changkong comprehended the Tao and broke through to the Xiantian realm, he accepted him. He sighed, Changkong, back then we sent you away because we had no choice. You should also understand what sort of power the moon god Hall is. You who have no cultivation base would only suffer humiliation here. Your son understands. Yu Changkong respectfully spoke. A warm smile could be seen on his face. Father and son were reunited. They were naturally extremely happy. For people from the Ziwei Divine Court entered the world of reincarnation. Other than Yu Changkong, there were 3 others. One of them was his martial uncle and the other 2 were rankers on the heavenly Tao rankings of the mystic region. In the world of reincarnation they came from the same power, the moon god Hall. Everything seemed to be predestined. The world of reincarnation seemed to be able to sense their fates. At this moment, the 4 experts of the Ziwei Divine Court gathered together. That heavenly deity junior brother, Yu Changkong's martial uncle, spoke. The moon god Hall seems to correspond to the Ziwei Divine Court in the outside world. The cultivation here is completely different from the outside world, but there are some similarities. Is it to allow us to comprehend another Tao in the world of reincarnation? But where is that sacred land? Could it be that the world of reincarnation is a legendary place, using our lives to test us? Since the world of reincarnation corresponds to the outside world, we have to grow stronger quickly and trample the other powers beneath our feet. An expert on the heavenly Tao rankings spoke. Martial uncle and my 2 senior brothers are all supreme geniuses. We will naturally be able to do so. Yu Changkong bowed. You can't say that. For those who entered the world of reincarnation, there are no weaklings. All of them are extremely strong. Changkong, since you returned to the moon god Hall, your strength should be extraordinary. Why don't you and I give it a try? Yu Changkong's martial uncle spoke. How can Changkong be a match for martial uncle? Yu Changkong bowed. How would we know if we don't try? His martial uncle took a step forward as a powerful law clone appeared behind him. The surrounding energy of heaven and earth fused into it as a cold saber light flashed. Yu Changkong roared and gathered his strength to defend. However, with a thunderous boom, Yu Changkong was directly slashed through the air. His body was covered in blood as he fell to the ground. Yu Changkong climbed up with difficulty. Martial uncle's comprehension in the world of reincarnation is truly extraordinary. To be able to block one of my attacks, you're not bad yourself. His martial uncle smiled and nodded. Go ahead. Yes, Changkong will take his leave. Yu Changkong bowed and departed. The 2 rankers on the heavenly Tao rankings stared at Yu Changkong's back as disdain flashed in their eyes. I heard that he was abandoned by his clan and became a beggar, suffering all sorts of humiliation. Ultimately, he is just a lowly person. Back then, he used deceitful methods to gain the recognition of the Ziwei Divine Court. If it was up to me, I would have killed him long ago. I wonder why Master left him alive. Despicable people naturally have their own uses for despicable people. For the sake of becoming stronger, he is willing to do anything. You all need to be on guard against him. That martial uncle said with a smile. After Yu Changkong returned, he quietly cultivated. One day, he told his father and the other cultivators in his clan that he had a miraculous encounter outside. Hence, he brought them to a desolate ancient mountain. His father stared at him and asked, "Changkong, where is the place you spoke of?" "Father, you once said that you were forced to expel me back then. In that case, today I'm also forced to do the same." Yu Changkong spoke. His hands were like sharp claws that directly stabbed into his father's back. A terrifying, devouring force frenziedly absorbed the energy in his father's body into his own. Vile creature. The experts in the surroundings roared. However, Yu Changkong had a malevolent smile on his face. "Father. How laughable." Wanting him to say this word, he naturally had to pay a price. A terrifying, all-devouring energy gushed forth. An evil devil law body appeared behind Yu Changkong, absorbing everything. Very swiftly, only a pile of white bones remained. After that, Yu Changkong took out his messaging crystal in this world and spoke, "Martial uncle, I discovered a divine depository. However, there's an evil being guarding it. My father and the others are in trouble." "Where?" the other party asked. "How strong is the evil being?" "I will lead the way for senior brother. The evil being's strength might be on par with martial uncle. For safety's sake, it's best if martial uncle sends a group of experts over. This divine depository might be extraordinary." Yu Changkong's voice was filled with intense emotions, filled with sorrow and agitation. It was like he had completely lost his calm. "Okay, wait for me." His martial uncle transmitted his voice over. Yu Changkong kept the messaging crystal and sat down cross-legged as a strange light flashed in his eyes. After a long time, his martial uncle and two other rankers on the Heavenly Dao rankings arrived. They didn't bring anyone else. This was within Yu Changkong's expectations. When he saw Yu Changkong and the pile of white bones, his martial uncle frowned and asked, "Where's the divine depository and the evil being?" "Martial uncle, have you heard of this before? This world of reincarnation is a manifestation of reality. If you die here, you will truly die." Yu Changkong calmly asked. "I know." His martial uncle nodded as he stared at Yu Changkong. It's good that martial uncle understands. Since all the geniuses of the supreme ancient immortal realms have come to this world of reincarnation, this is like a test of life and death. In that case, no matter how cruel it is, I will walk all the way to the end. Those who compete with me will all die. The legendary place, the legendary person will only be me. Martial uncle, thank you for your help." As the sound of Yu Changkong's voice faded, a law body appeared around him. That terrifying devil law body was incomparably malevolent, exuding a terrifying evil aura. The expressions of the three of them changed. His martial uncle coldly spoke, "You were bewitched by that evil spirit and cultivated an evil art? What is an evil art?" Yu Changkong calmly spoke. "There are rumors in the supreme ancient immortal realms that the Sacred Academy opened, and the supreme ancient immortal realms underwent a transformation. Since all of you want to enter this legendary place, I naturally have to become the strongest here. So what if you are rankers on the Heavenly Dao rankings? In the future, all of your strength will be used by me. Your insights will also belong to me." As the sound of his voice faded, the devil law body released numerous gray tentacles that instantly enveloped the entire sky. The expressions of the three of them drastically changed. They unleashed all the energy they comprehended in the world of reincarnation to resist, but it was useless. Their bodies were penetrated by the tentacles as their energy flowed frenziedly into Yu Changkong's body. At this moment, Yu Changkong seemed to have completely transformed into an evil devil. "I'm your martial uncle. If you kill me, will my senior brother spare you after we exit this place?" His martial uncle roared in terror. "If this evil devil energy is also a Dao and I can bring the insights I gained in this life back to the supreme ancient immortal realms, if there's a chance, I will definitely pay him back double for everything he made me suffer." Yu Changkong malevolently spoke. After that, he completely devoured his martial uncle's body, as well as the two rankers on the Heavenly Dao rankings from the Ziwei Divine Court. All of them died in the world of reincarnation. Yu Changkong drew in a deep breath, feeling very satisfied. His cold and gloomy gaze was extremely terrifying. "You said that you were sealed in this world of reincarnation. In that case, who is the master who sealed this world? The creator of this legendary place?" Yu Chongkong seemed to be mumbling to himself. There was no one else in the surroundings. You don't need to know. In any case, this isn't something the current you can imagine. What you need to do is to become stronger as much as possible. Everything you obtained in this world of reincarnation will benefit you in the future. Maybe there will be a chance for you to know who the creator of this place is. A voice rang out in Yu Chongkong's mind. Oh. Yu Chongkong coldly laughed and didn't continue asking. At this moment he thought of a person. Qin Wentian. Where would he be in this world of reincarnation? He hoped that Qin Wentian would be stronger. Only then would he be able to provide nourishment for him. In the universe region, the eminent monks of the Western Paradise sect were in the world of reincarnation. They were also cultivating in a Buddhist sect named the Vajra Temple. There were eminent monks in the Vajra Temple, but what they believed in was the Western Paradise. That place was the true sacred ground of the Buddhist sect. Reverend Seven Abstinences was named after the 7 abstinences of the Buddhist sect. He was respected by many in the supreme ancient immortal realms and was an eminent monk. But now in the world of reincarnation, he was just an ordinary novice monk and couldn't cultivate. However, the abbot treated him very well and treated him like his own son. 7 abstinences. During these days you have already read through all the Buddhist teachings in the Vajra Temple. Now that you are bidding farewell to me, do you have any thoughts? The abbot asked the young 7 abstinences. Disciple wishes to head to the Western Paradise. 7 abstinences pressed his palms together and bowed. You should have already read about it in the ancient scriptures. If you want to reach the Western Paradise, you have to use a primordial body and pass through all sorts of tribulations. After you reach the sacred ground, you have to kowtow with every step you take. In my Vajra Temple, no one has ever succeeded before. Do you still wish to head there? The abbot asked again. No matter how dangerous the path ahead is, I'm still willing to head there. 7 abstinences nodded. Right now, he could already comprehend the Buddhist Tao, but he didn't. There was also the Western Paradise in the world of reincarnation. Fine, if you want to head to the Western Paradise to seek Buddhahood, you have to follow the 7 abstinences and 10 virtues. I have a cultivation base, but I don't have your ambitions. Right now, I shall convert my cultivation base into a sarira to protect you on your journey. The abbot laughed. 7 abstinences pressed his palms together. He didn't decline. The abbot of the Vajra Temple channeled all his cultivation base into the sarira. After that, he looked like an old and withered lamp as he hung the sarira around 7 abstinences' neck. Go on. The abbot spoke. 7 abstinences bowed and departed, heading towards the Western Paradise in the world of reincarnation. He had no distractions in his heart. He begged for alms along the way, abiding by the 7 abstinences and 10 virtues. He experienced many hardships and was covered in dust, but he didn't forget his original heart. The world of reincarnation was his good fortune. Since fate has arrived, he would naturally grasp it. As a true esteemed monk, how tough was his state of mind? When he was on his way there, a monk from the Vajra Temple found him and told 7 abstinences that the abbot was about to die. They hoped that 7 abstinences could return to take a look at the abbot. 7 abstinences didn't turn back. He continued on his way. The monks of the Vajra Temple said that his personality was cold, but there were also people who said that 7 abstinences had comprehended the true essence of the Buddhist Tao. In the world of reincarnation, every expert from the supreme ancient immortal realms had a different identity, living a different life and comprehending the Tao in this life. All of them gradually gained an epiphany. Obtaining the Tao in the world of reincarnation would definitely be extremely beneficial to their cultivation. There was once a supreme character in the supreme ancient immortal realms who chose to enter the cycle of reincarnation, seeking the insights of another life and pursuing the supreme Tao. Right now, they also had such a good opportunity. They naturally should cherish it. Chapter 1831. Seeing that we are both cultivating in the sacred academy, I will spare you this time. There's no need for this to happen again. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. After that, his silhouette flashed as he left this place. To him, Jianshun wasn't important. Although they were both rankers on the heavenly Tao rankings, he didn't have much interest in the rankings. He also didn't have any ambition to defeat the other rankers on the rankings. The Tao mark before him was none other than the slaughter will. That trace seemed to be able to kill the heavens. Faintly, an extremely terrifying slaughter will gushed forth, directly aiming for the spectators. For those who weren't strong enough, if they tried to comprehend here, they would suffer a backlash or even die under the might of the Tao intent. Many people were counting the Empyreans here. Someone mentioned Yu Chongkong. Where are you from? Qin Wentian suddenly asked. Upon seeing this scene, Jianchun frowned. What ability was this? But if this was the case, why was everything so miraculous? He had no way to understand what sort of existence the creator of this world of reincarnation was. Jianshan was an expert on the heavenly Tao rankings. His strength was naturally extremely powerful. Qin Wentian didn't bother with them. He had no idea what sort of existences these fellows who were sealed in this world of reincarnation were exactly. But for his Tao, he had to rely on himself to walk it and not be controlled by others. After the aristocratic clan Qin Wentian came from was destroyed, he wandered about this world of reincarnation. He wanted to investigate whether this world was real or not. To his astonishment, he discovered that everything in this world was so real. Here, everyone had their own stories and the accumulation of countless years of history. Outsiders like them seemed to have appeared out of thin air, affecting the order of this world of reincarnation. I'm thinking, if this place is the legendary place, how can we exit this place? Do we have to defeat all the people who entered here before we can obtain the favor of the legendary place? Jianchan slowly spoke. Coming here, we are all at the same starting point, cultivating from zero. The competition seems to be extremely fair. You and I were both ranked on the Heavenly Tao rankings in the Sacred Academy, but because I am older than you, I didn't fight against you before. Now that both of us have the same starting point, we can verify who is stronger and who is weaker. When the Heavenly Tao Sacred Academy allowed them to enter the legendary place, the heavenly deity once reminded them to guard their hearts. Hence, Qin Wentian didn't waver in the slightest when facing those tempting voices. Also, the purpose of the Heavenly Tao Sacred Academy was to prevent the people of the other major powers from obtaining the Tao here. After returning to the main city of the world of reincarnation, Qin Wentian was drinking wine in an inn. Many people around him were discussing the major events in the world of reincarnation. Right now, many powers in the world of reincarnation have given birth to demon-level geniuses. Their cultivation speed was shocking, and it felt like they were all rising up at the same time, about to open the curtains of a new era. Jian Chen's body froze for a moment, as if time had stopped. However, in the next moment, a powerful sword might appear in the surroundings, mincing apart the frozen spacetime. When one's comprehension reached a certain level, even the freezing of spacetime could be broken. There was no such thing as invincible power. It only depended on how powerful the user was. When Qin Wentian thought of the destruction of his clan in this world, he felt some pain in his heart. Although he couldn't truly acknowledge Qin Ruhai as his father, to Qin Yuanfeng, he was his son. Qin Ruhai was willing to die for him. From a certain perspective, the Qin Ruhai of this world was the incarnation of Qin Yuanfeng. And now, his goal in the world of reincarnation was to gain more insights. When he returned to the supreme ancient immortal realms, he believed that all the insights he gained would belong to him as well. Insights couldn't be taken away unless he lost his memories. But from the situation in the world of reincarnation, this was clearly impossible. Jianshan slowly stood up. He stared at Qin Wentian as a fearsome aura gushed forth from him, after which, with a wave of his hand, bolts of lightning intersected with one another, transforming into countless X runes that tore apart the void, causing it to be dismembered into countless pieces. Qin Wentian inclined his head and glanced at the world around him. In an instant, the entire world seemed to sink into his eyes. In the world of his eye technique, Jian Chen's energy pierced through his body, wanting to tear it apart. However, all of this seemed to be an illusion. He still stood there unscathed, completely unharmed. His goal was to become heaven's son. He was already a heavenly deity, and was a supreme existence among heavenly deities. What meaning was there in staring at the heavenly Tao rankings? The Heavens Will World Heart was his foundation. In the Heavens Will World Heart he could control everything. By sealing the energy of the Heavens Will World Heart into his eye technique, he could instantly seal the attacks of others into his eye technique and neutralize them. It was truly terrifying. Beside Qin Wentian, there were many people comprehending the Tao here. One of them exuded a sharp aura. He stood on a rock and calmly stared at Qin Wentian as his eyes gleamed with sharpness. Qin Wentian frowned. In an instant, time and space seemed to freeze as all energy stopped flowing. In the world of reincarnation, he still chose to cultivate the energy of the past. Firstly, it was because he wanted to quickly return to his previous cultivation realm. Secondly, it was because he wanted to make use of the fact that there were no restrictions on his law attributes in the world of reincarnation. He wanted to see if he could break through again. However, now wasn't the time. His current cultivation realm was still too weak. He needed to return to his peak. In this world, he could sense all kinds of law attributes. Because of his previous life's experience, he was extremely sensitive to the law attributes he once possessed. He could easily comprehend them. After Qin Wentian left, he continued to roam the world of reincarnation. It was like he wanted to explore the entire world. If he comprehended the Tao of heavenly deities in this world, would he be able to break through after he exited this world? Although Jian Chen's energy was still manifested through his sword, it had clearly surpassed the scope of source origins. This was the manifestation of his heaven heart mandate in an innate technique. This was a tyrannical technique he learned from the tiny astral being, as well as the insights he gained from his cultivation in the secret realm. At the end, he used his world heart to form a powerful innate technique. He named it as the Eye of Heaven's Will. You won't be able to do it, Qin Wentian faintly spoke. He glanced over again and in an instant, Jian Shan felt his body entering the world created by Qin Wentian's eye technique. In this world of the eye technique, countless law imprints shot over. The surrounding spacetime seemed to have come to a complete standstill. At the very end, his body also froze there, unable to move. I heard that your energy is spacetime. What's the use of coming here to comprehend the will of slaughter? Could it be that you have cultivated some other techniques in here? A voice rang out from the side. Qin Wentian didn't look at the person who spoke. He naturally knew who the person who spoke was. It was an expert from the supreme ancient immortal realms like him. Also, this person was someone who came from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. He was none other than the descendant of the sword god, Jian Shan. Flat. Jian Shan sat there as he spoke. He didn't even move his body. His palms slashed out as boundless sword might transformed into a rune that slashed towards Qin Wentian. The might of the rune was terrifying, able to slash apart a human's body. World of Reincarnation, Southern Heaven Sword Pavilion, Jian Shan replied. Qin Wentian nodded his head silently. As expected, this was still an aristocrat clan of the Sword Tao. It was similar to when he was in the supreme ancient immortal realms. There seemed to be some sort of connection between them. There are differences in strength when comprehending the Tao. How can the starting point be the same? Qin Wentian calmly shook his head. After they came to the world of reincarnation, although they didn't have their cultivation bases and had to start from scratch, they brought with them all the insights they gained in the past. The starting point was different. Qin Wentian stood up and left. He calmly spoke, "Don't forget teacher's instructions. The moon god's disciple Yu Changkong can be said to be the reincarnation of a deity. He has comprehended a myriad of laws and can transcend everything. Someone said that he would be able to become a deity within 1,000 years. Could it be that he took a shortcut? But now, he died together with his entire clan. When he thought of the other 3 experts of the dual faction Qin clan, the flames of revenge burned in his heart. In the blink of an eye, many years passed in the world of reincarnation. Before an ancient mountain, Qin Wentian faced the wall and cultivated. The stone wall before him was filled with Tao marks that contained the might of the great Tao. Right now, Qin Wentian's demeanor was transcendent. His eyes were deep and the energy he gained in the outside world had already been converted back to him. In this world, he also possessed strength comparable to the hegemonic level characters back then. In that case, you are afraid of battle? Jian Shan asked. Qin Wentian started to roam the world of reincarnation. He gradually discovered that this world wasn't as vast as he had imagined. All the peak powers seemed to be existences that corresponded to the hegemonic powers of the supreme ancient immortal realms, but all of them were in a single region. The world of reincarnation was like a world of its own. There's no conflict at all, Jian Shan calmly spoke. It was like he didn't see Qin Wentian leaving. At the instant his voice faded, The wind and clouds in the surroundings changed. This world seemed to have transformed into a world of swords. At this instant, Qin Wentian felt that his entire body was filled with sword intent, controlled by Jian Shan. Where his heart was, where his Tao was. This was the ability of the world overlord's world heart. Although he was in the other world, Jian Shan was still able to use it perfectly. There's hatred in your heart. These Tao marks of slaughter can aid you in comprehending the Tao of slaughter. Do you want to cultivate them? I can allow you to cultivate the art of endless slaughter and become the king of slaughter. A voice rang out in Qin Wentian's mind, filled with bewitchment. He had already heard this voice many times. Naturally, there were other voices that were trying to bewitch him, wanting him to cultivate some evil arts. Qin Wentian cultivated for tens of years in the Tiandao Sacred Academy and entered the various secret realms. How could he not have any insights? His strength was already incomparable to when he participated in the convention of the myriad realms. That's true. He's too monstrous. I wonder how he cultivated. Someone sighed in admiration. Qin Wentian frowned when he heard Yu Changkong's name. Naturally, it wasn't because he was jealous. It was just that he felt strange. Given Yu Changkong's talent, how could he be said to have comprehended all arts? Chapter 1832. Qin Wentian was thinking that if Yu Changkong really took a shortcut and listened to the evil spirits to cultivate evil arts, would he really have a chance to step into the heavenly deity realm? If this was the case, wouldn't it be unfair to others? If that was the case, everyone would choose to cultivate evil arts. It was extremely rare to find someone who could remain true to their heart under any circumstances. This time around, Yu Changkong is gathering experts from the various peak powers in the world of reincarnation. This would surely be a grand event. I wonder how many people would respond. Another person in the inn spoke. Qin Wentian frowned. He glanced at the person who spoke and asked, "When did this happen?" Not long ago, the Moon God Hall sent out news. Right now, given Yu Changkong's status in the Moon God Hall, even the deities would respect his opinion. That person replied. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed sharply. He naturally understood that the people Yu Changkong truly wanted to gather were those experts from the supreme ancient immortal realms who entered the world of reincarnation. This was the first time after he came to the world of reincarnation that someone called for a gathering. Clearly, Yu Changkong was very confident that he would be able to become the main character of this world of reincarnation. Back then, during the convention of the myriad realms, he once lied to everyone and used all sorts of methods to enter the Ziwei divine court. He even proposed marriage to the Donghuang clan. This person was extremely ambitious and had a despicable personality. Although he was a disciple of the Sun Moon Sacred Mountain, he still felt that his position wasn't high enough. He wanted to enter the Ziwei divine court, but now, in the world of reincarnation, he seemed to be even more successful compared to the outside world. Qin Wentian inquired about the details of this matter, and gradually understood that this matter was brought about by Yu Changkong and the Qin clan. Right now, only the Qin clan was left in the world of reincarnation. Yu Changkong and the people from the Qin clan, what do they want to do? Qin Wentian mused. A few geniuses from the Qin clan were now in the Qin clan. Clearly, they had participated in this, colluding with Yu Changkong. Given the status of Yu Changkong and the other disciples of the Qin clan, they didn't have such rallying power. Among those who entered the world of reincarnation, Yu Changkong was clearly the most mediocre. There were many people with loftier statuses than him. For the three from the Qin clan, although they were outstanding, their fame was eclipsed by Qin Dongtian's halo. After Qin Wentian left the inn, he continued to gather information outside. He learned that Yu Changkong and the others were able to gather so many people because Yu Changkong and the Qin clan wanted to deal with some people. Who are you referring to by some people? This made Qin Wentian's heart a little cold. He guessed that it was probably related to him. The heaven chosen of the Moon God Hall, Yu Changkong, and the three geniuses of the Qin clan called for a gathering. The location of the gathering was none other than one of the factions in the dual faction Qin clan that was destroyed back then. Today, the dual faction Qin clan gathered many experts from the world of reincarnation. All of them were experts from the supreme ancient immortal realms who had entered the world of reincarnation. Because they were very clear in their hearts who Yu Changkong and the Qin clan wanted to gather. Qin Wentian was among the crowd. He came here in disguise. The people from the Qin clan wanted to kill him, and Yu Changkong most probably hated him to the bone. Hence, he naturally had to keep a low profile. He saw many familiar figures. Although he wasn't acquainted with many of them, he knew who they were. Naturally, he also saw people he was familiar with. Luo Shenlei, Goddess Nikhang, Devilox and the others. Naturally, other than a few who originated from peak powers, those from the Tiandao Sacred Academy who didn't have a background from a peak power didn't appear. Yu Changkong sat on the ruins. His aura now was even more extraordinary. His entire person radiated a layer of unfathomable aura, giving off an unfathomable feeling. At this moment, he was resting with his eyes closed. Today, I invited everyone here for two reasons. Firstly, I want to take a look at all of you. Secondly, there's another reason. Everyone should be clear about your own goals. In that case, because some people seem to have a heavenly advantage, they might know some things we don't know. Hence, should we eliminate these people first? The eyes of everyone gleamed with sharpness. Yu Changkong was truly direct. The some people he spoke of undoubtedly referred to the cultivators from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. The legendary place belonged to the Tiandao Sacred Academy. They suspected that the people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy would know many things in advance and would have an advantage over them. Everyone fell silent. In the supreme ancient immortal realms, Qin Dangtian from the Qin clan insulted the Sacred Academy. Both sides already had a grudge and it wasn't good for them to participate in this. After all, the Tiandao Sacred Academy was a peak power in the supreme ancient immortal realms. Naturally, they also felt that the people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy might know some secrets they didn't know. Don't forget why you guys can appear here. Luo Shenlei calmly spoke. In the world of reincarnation, she was also born in the Luoshan clan. However, in the world of reincarnation, the dual-faction Qin clan had no connection with the Luoshan clan. If it wasn't for the various hegemonic powers speaking in unison, we naturally wouldn't have appeared here. If not, do you really think they would be so kind? Yu Changkong's closed eyes opened as a cold light flashed within. He stared at Luo Shenlei. Shut up, you don't have the qualifications to speak to me. Luo Shenlei glanced at Yu Changkong in disgust. This person's character was so despicable. Right now in the world of reincarnation, he actually wanted to create a storm of blood, acting against the people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Yu Changkong's eyes narrowed as an evil smile appeared on his face. I don't have the qualifications? Things were different now. This place was no longer the supreme ancient immortal realms. Since Miss Luoshan has said this, I really have to seek guidance from you. Yu Changkong calmly spoke. His tone was extremely cold. If you want to fight, I will accompany you. An extremely cold voice rang out. The person who spoke was none other than World Overlord Lifeless. He also entered the world of reincarnation together with the experts from the Luoshan clan, and was in charge of protecting Luo Shenlei. Sure. Yu Changkong sinisterly laughed. After that he slowly moved forward. Facing against the powerful World Overlord Lifeless, he actually accepted the challenge. Grandpa Lifeless, be careful of this man. His personality is despicable and he can use any methods. Luo Shenlei transmitted her voiceover. World Overlord Lifeless nodded. With a flash of his silhouette, he appeared in the air. Yu Changkong smiled and flew up. He glanced up at the sky and in an instant, a violet constellation appeared. Boundless astral light enveloped this entire space, blocking the vision of everyone. Everyone could only feel a fearsome emperor's intent. It was impossible for them to resist it. Everyone frowned. Their wills actually had no way to penetrate the violet astral light, and couldn't see the battle happening within. Very soon, fearful roars of rage rang out in the air. The sky trembled as the violet constellation trembled. It felt like it was on the verge of collapse. Violent rumbling sounds rang out as the sky seemed like it was about to explode. The violent energy shook the heavens and earth. What happened? The eyes of everyone gleamed with sharpness, wanting to see the details of the battle but they couldn't. Luo Shenlei's beautiful eyes involuntarily flashed with worry. After that, a miserable scream rang out. In an instant, Luo Shenlei only felt her entire body turning cold. She called out, "Grandpa Lifeless." The astral light dissipated. It was like the night sky, extremely beautiful. Yu Changkong exuded magnificence through the generations as he slowly descended. However, World Overlord Lifeless figure had already vanished. This scene caused the eyes of many to narrow as they stared at Yu Changkong. They have heard of Nameless, the Sky Order Heavenly Deity's divine throne. He was an extremely powerful hegemonic level world overlord, but he was actually easily killed by Yu Changkong. Not only so, they also discovered a detail. Back then, among the experts from the Ziwei Divine Court who entered the world of reincarnation, only Yu Changkong appeared. Where were the others? Yu Changkong's martial uncle, his junior brother, and 2 rankers on the Heavenly Dao rankings of the Mystic region have all vanished. Where were they? Now do I have the qualifications? Yu Changkong smiled at Luo Xinlei. Luo Xinlei's beautiful eyes instantly turned red as she stared fixedly at Yu Changkong. How could this be? Yu Changkong was such a despicable character. Back then, he was once suppressed and humiliated by her elder brother, and was brought away by the people from the Ziwei Divine Court. She thought that Yu Changkong would be consigned to eternal damnation, but now he didn't die. After entering the world of reincarnation, how did Yu Changkong become so powerful? Earlier, when Yu Changkong was fighting, he sealed everyone's vision. Was he hiding something? Could it be that Yu Changkong cultivated an evil art? In the crowd, the expression of Qin Wentian, who was in disguise, turned cold. He clenched his fists tightly. Yu Changkong was actually so powerful? Could it be that the evil art that had been bewitching him was really so powerful? What evil art did you cultivate? At this moment, someone directly asked, not minding Yu Changkong at all. The person who spoke was an expert from the Supreme Ancient Great Devil Divine Palace. The devil might radiating from him was extremely terrifying, exuding an unexcelled might. On the Heavenly Dao rankings of the Mystic region, Gu Ting from the Great Devil Divine Palace was definitely one of the strongest. He knew of Yu Changkong. He was someone who deceived the world in the convention. Now, he actually managed to kill World Overlord Lifeless, a subordinate of the Sky Order Heavenly Deity. This matter was definitely not ordinary. How can I tell you about cultivation so easily? Yu Changkong calmly glanced at Gu Ting. He had no fear at all. The him now in the world of reincarnation truly had the qualifications to speak to these characters. He no longer needed to look up to them. Back then, Gu Ting from the Great Devil Divine Palace was a character he had to look up to. But now there was no need for that. Gu Ting's expression was extremely cold. He stared at Yu Changkong only to see Yu Changkong staring straight at him, not backing down at all. If you want to seek guidance, I don't mind. Enough, don't forget our purpose today. At this moment, a world overlord from the Qin clan interrupted the two of them. They were born in the Qin clan and initially felt contempt for Yu Changkong. But now, their gazes when looking at Yu Changkong changed. This person even dared to challenge Gu Ting. Seems like he was extremely confident. Chapter 1833. Gu Ting stared at the experts from the Qin clan before turning to Yu Changkong. He didn't intend to stop here and continued asking, "Let's talk about this matter later. I still have a question. Yu Changkong, where are your fellow sect members?" Yu Changkong narrowed his eyes as he stared at Gu Ting. It seemed like Gu Ting wasn't prepared to let this matter rest. "My senior brother and martial uncle died in a secret realm. Do I still need to report to you?" Yu Changkong spoke in a cold tone. Dying while exploring a secret zone? The demonic might on Gu Ting's body surged. "I'm afraid it's not that simple. Everyone should know why we're here. But if someone abandons his heart and wishes to take a shortcut, affecting the others, I have no choice but to make this clear. I don't want to lose my life in a secret realm in the future." The Great Devil Divine Palace and the Ziwei Divine Court were both hegemonic-level powers of the Mystic region. Gu Ting naturally understood a little about Yu Changkong's matters. Although Yu Changkong's talent wasn't bad, and if it wasn't for the appearance of the Qingcheng Realm Lord, he might be extremely dazzling. In fact, it wasn't to say that he wouldn't be able to ascend the Heavenly Dao rankings, it was just that the time wasn't right yet. However, Gu Ting didn't believe that Yu Changkong would be able to kill Lifeless so easily after he entered the world of reincarnation. In that case, there was only one possibility. The eyes of many experts here flickered. Gu Ting's gaze was filled with an extremely invasive nature. Devil intent revolved around his body as he swept his gaze across the crowd. Seeing that many of them were silent, he couldn't help but coldly ask, How many of you here have already betrayed your true heart? Silence filled the air. Those who came from the supreme ancient immortal realms naturally understood what they were saying. However, those in the world of reincarnation felt somewhat confused. The words of these people seemed to contain a deeper meaning they had no way to understand. Could it be that the deaths of Yu Changkong's fellow sect members were related to Yu Changkong? What do you mean by betrayal? At this moment a voice rang out. Gu Ting and the others turned their gazes over only to see that the person who spoke was a Buddhist cultivator from the pure land of bliss of the supreme ancient immortal realms. He was the junior apprentice brother of 7 abstinences. He pressed his palms together and spoke, "My senior apprentice brother 7 abstinences went to the Western Paradise to seek the Tao, using his primordial body to travel. That is his true heart. Right now, if you guys want to cultivate any techniques, you can also use your true heart. It's just that my heart has been released under certain circumstances." Master is wise. Gu Ting nodded at this Buddhist cultivator. He was right. If there really was someone who cultivated those methods, it could only be said that it was a manifestation of their true heart and nature. Was the trial in the world of samsara supposed to allow people to see themselves clearly and find their true selves? When one's heart turns to Buddha, one will become a Buddha. When one's heart turns to the devil, one will become a devil. Buddha and the devil are separated by a single thought. The monk put his palms together and said slowly, "If one's heart turns to the devil, one will naturally become an evil devil." If that's the case, what does Grandmaster think we should do? Gu Ting asked. Among the people here, it was clear that Gu Ting wasn't the only one who had cultivated such a technique. It was just that they didn't want to reveal it. It was just that Yu Changkong was too eager to reveal it. This is an unsolvable problem. Everyone, whether or not you can protect your true self or if your heart is being corroded, you can only depend on yourselves. The Reverend shook his head and sighed. The eyes of some people flashed. This was truly a difficult problem. After cultivating to the transcendent level world overlord realm, which one of them didn't have a strong will and determination? They had their own Tao and wouldn't change easily. If they were bewitched by the evil energy of the external world, even if they could grow stronger, they would still lose their true self. This wasn't the Tao they wanted to pursue. What would happen if they went astray? However, if they didn't cultivate it and chose to cultivate it like Yu Changkong, they might end up like World Overlord lifeless in the process of competing against him. Also, among Yu Changkong's fellow sect members, there were 2 rankers on the Heavenly Tao rankings. They vanished without a trace just like that. They could faintly guess that they have already been killed. This disciple of the Ziwei Divine Court, who once pretended to be the inheritor of the Time King's inheritance, was truly despicable to the extreme. For the sake of achieving his goals, he would do anything. Hence, to everyone, this was a difficult problem to solve. Yu Changkong, you cultivate the evil arts. Are you not afraid of your Tao heart becoming unstable and suffering a backlash? Luo Shenlei's eyes turned red as she stared at Yu Changkong. During the convention of the myriad realms, this man was already incomparably despicable. She had always looked down on him. However, this despicable man actually killed her grandpa lifeless. She couldn't accept this. Yu Changkong sat there steadily, quietly listening to the words of everyone. After that, a cold smile appeared on his face. How could he not have thought of this problem before? However, he knew that if he relied on his own cultivation, he would only be suppressed by his martial uncle and his 2 fellow sect members, suffering incomparable humiliation. In the Ziwei Divine Court, he also lived an extremely humiliating life. When he first came here, he became a beggar. At that time, there were evil voices bewitching him, and he didn't hesitate to cultivate the evil arts. For the sake of becoming stronger, to change everything, even if he was consigned to eternal damnation, he didn't care. He would no longer be the Yu Changkong of the past. He wanted to be lofty just like before. Luo Shenlei looked down on him and looked down on him. But now? Most probably she regretted it. The matter of cultivation is a personal choice. Let's not talk about it anymore. Our topic today is still the people from that place. How should we deal with them? An expert from a peak power in the Chaos region spoke. His demeanor was outstanding and his voice was calm, causing many people to cast a deep glance at him. Gu Ting's eyes were cold. He also knew that this matter couldn't be pursued. Yu Chongkong definitely wasn't the only one who cultivated the evil arts, allowing himself to transform. I've already captured one of them. After interrogating him, he didn't reply and I killed him. Yu Chongkong calmly spoke, like he was talking about an insignificant matter. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with killing intent. Yu Chongkong actually captured and killed a genius from the Tiandao Sacred Academy? Let me make things clear first. This matter has nothing to do with me. Devilox directly spoke. He didn't want to be targeted. You basically don't belong there. You have your own identity. It's normal that you don't know anything. Someone calmly spoke. Devilox was a supreme character from the Divine Ox clan of the Desolate region. Even if the Tiandao Sacred Academy knew about the secret of the world of reincarnation, they wouldn't tell him. Naturally, since Devilox has expressed his stance, they naturally wouldn't offend him if they could. Today, I invited all of you here mainly to discuss this matter. Next, let's all use our strength to search for them. What do you all think? A genius from the Qin clan spoke. As he spoke, his gaze inadvertently turned to goddess Nikhang. She was so beautiful that it could shock the world, causing him to have no way to calm his heart. He wanted nothing more than to obtain her right now. Also, the young miss of the Luotian clan was also extremely beautiful. Although her beauty couldn't be compared to goddess Nikhang, she was still a rare peak-level beauty. Her beauty could even cause the moon and flowers to blush. If he could obtain both of them, how wonderful would that be? In addition, the Luotian clan and the Qin clan in the supreme ancient immortal realms had an old grudge. When he thought of this, his heart stirred. There seemed to be a mysterious energy circulating in his body. I naturally agree. Yu Chongkong took the lead to express his stance. In the world of reincarnation, the person he wanted to meet the most was none other than the disciple of the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the Qingcheng Realm Lord, Qin Wentian. All the pain and suffering he experienced was given to him by Qin Wentian. He wanted to repay him in double. If everyone obtains any inside news from this, don't forget to share it with us. A genius from a hegemonic power in the heaven region spoke. All of them had their own ulterior motives in their hearts. If some core members of the Tiandao Sacred Academy really knew the secret of the world of reincarnation, after they forced them to reveal it, it would surely be of great help to them in the world of reincarnation. That's only natural. Yu Chongkong calmly spoke. However, this was clearly an act. If they really knew the secret of the world of reincarnation, why would they reveal it? Today, I initially wanted to invite everyone to spar about the Tao. But from the looks of things now, I don't think everyone is interested anymore. Let's continue this discussion in the future. Yu Chongkong continued. Right now, these people all had trepidation in their hearts and were wary of their opponents. Yu Chongkong even killed his martial uncle and fellow sect members. In this place, anyone could be his opponent. Since this is the case, I will hold a banquet in my Qin residence. Is everyone willing to attend? An expert from the Qin clan spoke. There's no need. Gu Ting calmly spoke. He then turned and left. Farewell. As he spoke, the experts from the Great Devil Divine Palace directly left, leaving just like that. It has been many years since they came to the world of reincarnation, and everyone was already clear about the situation here. Now that everyone met each other, they already knew what was going on. There was no need for them to pretend to be good friends and attend the banquet together. The experts from the various powers left one after another. An expert from the Qin clan walked towards Goddess Nikhang and spoke. Fairy Nikhang, come with me to my clan for a chat. There's no need. Goddess Nikhang calmly replied. Uncle Chu often visits my residence as a guest. I treat Fairy Nikhang as my kin. There's no need to stand on ceremony. That expert from the Qin clan spoke again. Chu Nichong's cold gaze stared at him. If this was in the supreme ancient immortal realms, the world overlord of the Qin clan would definitely not dare to speak to her like this because Heaven's son Qin Dangtian was around. But here, the people from the Qin clan seemed to be much bolder. In addition, the eyes of this world overlord were filled with a sense of invasiveness. His gaze was scorching hot like he was under a devil's Tao. Goddess Nikhang coldly glanced at him. She seemed to know something and after that, she directly left, not bothering about that world overlord. Upon seeing this scene, the eyes of that world overlord from the Qin clan flashed with greed. It was like what the reverend from the Buddhist sect said earlier was right. Demons appearing in one's heart, that was their nature. This was their true heart. Chapter 1834. Qin Wentian was in the crowd watching everything that happened. The Tiandao Sacred Academy allowed everyone to enter the sacred ground. However, no one would feel grateful. They wanted to capture the experts of the Tiandao Sacred Academy and force them to reveal the secret of the world of reincarnation. However, in truth, Qin Wentian understood that the heavenly deities of the Tiandao Sacred Academy only reminded them to guard their hearts. They had no idea what was happening in the world of reincarnation. Staring at Yu Changkong, Qin Wentian felt an intense killing intent in his heart. Sadly, now in the world of reincarnation, it seemed that he wouldn't be able to kill Yu Changkong. Yu Changkong had cultivated an evil art, causing his strength to transform. Even a peak-level hegemonic character like World Overlord Lifeless could be easily killed by him. If he wanted revenge, it seemed like he had to wait until he grew stronger. His gaze slowly turned over and stared at Luo Xunlei. When he saw Luo Xunlei's reddened eyes, he felt a little unbearable in his heart. World Overlord Lifeless' death was related to her. Most probably Lei Er's heart must be filled with pain. However, he didn't go up to disturb her. After hearing the conversation between Gu Ting and the Buddhist cultivators from the Pure Land of Bliss, his view of the world of reincarnation changed. Maybe in the world of reincarnation, everyone had to face some things and understand their true selves. He hoped that Lei Er would be able to overcome this and strengthen her will. Other than the fallen World Overlord Lifeless, there were still 4 other experts from the Luotian clan. All of them were extremely outstanding world overlords, and all of them were core characters of the Luotian clan. All of them had the surname Luotian. Lei, let's return. There will be a chance for revenge in the future. Luo Xunfeng had a very good relationship with Luo Xunlei, and seemed to be her clan brother. He transmitted his voice to her. Luo Xunlei's fists were still tightly clenched. She stared at Lifeless, who had vanished. She bit her lips slightly and turned to leave. If there's a chance in the future, let's pay a visit to the Luotian clan. Yu Changkong calmly spoke after Luo Xunlei and the others left. His tone contained a hint of provocation. Now that Qin Wentian was hiding, he would deal with Luo Xunlei first. Back then during the convention, Luo Xunlei also participated in it. They had to pay a price for this. The 4 experts from the Luotian clan left. Luo Xunlei and Luo Xunfeng walked together while the other 2 walked together. One of them coldly glanced at Luo Xunlei and spoke, "Now you caused World Overlord Lifeless to die here. Are you satisfied? When mocking others, you should first consider your own strength first. You all Luo Xunlei, Luo Xunwushuang, and Tian Clan Sex Clan. Clearly their relationship wasn't that good." Luo Xunlei's gaze abruptly turned cold. She stared at the 2 people who spoke. The relationship between them wasn't that good. Just like what she once said to Qin Wentian, the Luotian clan was currently in a delicate period. Her grandfather had no way to control the clan's decisions. This was especially so after her father's cultivation base was crippled. Many things had changed. Luo Xunfeng's elders were very close to her faction, but the elders of the other 2 were different. They wanted to seize the authority of the Luotian clan. What sort of character is Yu Changkong? I'm sure you all know this. He originally didn't have the qualifications to speak with the people of the Luotian clan. It's only because he cultivated an evil art that caused World Overlord Lifeless to die. Now the 2 of you are blaming Lei instead? How can this be? Luo Xunfeng coldly spoke. "Reap what you sow. Did we say anything wrong?" One of them coldly spoke. "This matter was caused by Luo Xunlei. In the future, you all will be the one to bear the blame." Ridiculous, the people of my Luotian clan actually fear a single threat from Yu Changkong. Luo Xunfeng icily spoke. "It's not fear. It's just that to us this is an unnecessary trouble. Since you all like to create trouble, just bear it yourself." The 2 of them increased their speed and left, leaving behind the enraged Luo Xunfeng and Luo Xunlei. "Lei, don't listen to their words. Yu Changkong's character is evil. Even if you didn't say anything, he would still find an excuse to deal with you. Grandpa Lifeless would definitely act to protect you, but the ending would still be the same. What we need to do now is to grow stronger and take good care of ourselves. Only then would we be able to live up to Grandpa Lifeless' death. Luo Shenfeng was much older than Luo Shenlei, and had always treated her like a younger sister. There's no need to persuade me. Grandpa Lifeless died because of me. Luo Shenlei's voice was cold, like she was in great pain. She would remember this point. After the gathering in the world of reincarnation, many experts of the supreme ancient immortal realms felt a sense of danger. Gu Ting once asked how many people here had lost their original heart. Yu Changkong was in the light, but how many people were in the dark? After the gathering, Yu Changkong became very close to the world overlords of the Qin clan. Under their influence, the two hegemonic powers of the supreme ancient immortal realms seemed to be in cahoots with each other. After a period of peace, waves of commotion finally arose in the world of reincarnation. This matter happened in the Qin clan. Chu Shun and his daughter Goddess Nikhang were guests at the Qin clan. Goddess Nikhang heavily injured a genius world overlord of the Qin clan. This matter caused the Qin clan to be enraged, and they wanted to capture Goddess Nikhang. How could Chu Shun agree? He immediately fell out with the Qin clan and a terrifying deity-level war erupted in the Qin clan. Chu Shun died in battle, but before he died, he sent Goddess Nikhang away. From then on, Goddess Nikhang was wanted by the Qin clan. Naturally, the internal orders of the Qin clan stated that they wouldn't kill Goddess Nikhang. They were to capture her alive. This matter caused quite a commotion in the world of reincarnation. The people from the supreme ancient immortal realms also felt that something was strange. In the true supreme ancient immortal realms, the relationship between the Qin clan and Chu Shan was very good. Goddess Nikhang had once accompanied Heaven's Son to the Tiandao Sacred Academy to pay a visit. Clearly, their relationship was extraordinary. But why would Goddess Nikhang be angered and injure someone from the Qin clan? This matter was worth pondering over and was worth pondering over. What happened between the disciples of the Qin clan from the Heaven region and Goddess Nikhang? In the Qin clan in the world of reincarnation, there was a matter that many people didn't know about. The few heaven-chosen world overlords of the Qin clan were all extremely promiscuous in the world of reincarnation. Occasionally, beautiful women would be sent into their harem, and all of them had to have both talent and beauty. After these women entered the Qin clan, no one knew what happened to them. Naturally, no one could interfere with the internal affairs of the Qin clan. The people from the supreme ancient immortal realms were thinking in their hearts. The number one beauty of the heaven region, Goddess Nikhang, was actually fleeing for her life in the world of reincarnation. If this matter was known by the Heaven's Son in the outside world, what would happen? After the Reverend from the Pure Land of Bliss heard of this matter, he could only sigh in admiration. If the heavens wanted one to die, they would first make one go crazy. The commotion of this matter hasn't ended yet. After that, another major incident occurred in the world of reincarnation. The Qin clan proposed to the Luoshan clan, wanting Luo Shenlei to marry into the Qin clan. The Luoshan clan naturally didn't agree. The Qin clan felt that they had been humiliated and hence, they joined forces with the Moon God Hall to exert pressure on the Luoshan clan. In the world of reincarnation, regardless of Yu Changkong or the three disciples from the Qin clan, all of them had immense authority in the Moon God Hall and the Qin clan. They could influence the decisions of the upper echelons. Such authority naturally brought about intense ambitions and desires. The Luoshan clan was under immense pressure. At this moment, the two extremely outstanding world overlords of the Luoshan clan felt that they should hand Luo Shenlei over to the Qin clan. There wasn't any problem with her marrying into the Qin clan. Both parties were extremely compatible. The Luoshan clan faced external pressure as well as internal voices of compromise. The upper echelons of the Luoshan clan wavered. Luo Shenlei was now in a desperate situation. However, at this moment Luo Shenlei vanished. She had left the Luoshan clan. After Grandpa Lifeless died, she suffered the betrayal of her kin from the Luoshan clan. The Luoshan clan was shaken, and they no longer had any attachment to her. The Luoshan clan searched everywhere for news of her. Until a few years later, in a desolate mountain range, two world overlords from the Luoshan clan found Luo Shenlei. "You have been hiding for so long. So it turns out that you have always been hiding in this mountain range." The two of them stared at the Luoshan clan. At this moment, Luo Shenlei was sitting cross-legged. She was dressed in black and her hair was black. She appeared extremely cold, but her countenance was as breathtaking as ever. Her beauty was as transcendent as ever. It was just that within this transcendent beauty, there was a coldness that would cause one's heart to palpitate. Back then, didn't your aunt always want to marry someone from the Qin clan? In the end, she brought misfortune to the clan. Your father was crippled because of this. Now you can chase after your aunt's footsteps in the world of reincarnation. What's so bad about that? One of the world overlords mocked, revealing the past. Luo Shenlei, you aren't our opponent. On the account that we are from the same clan, we don't wish to act against you. Just leave with us. Another person spoke. Our Luoshan clan is originally already in a precarious situation. However, you guys actually wanted to seize power through internal strife. Since this is the case, Luo Shenlei is unfilial and caused the Luoshan clan to suffer losses. Even if we are consigned to eternal damnation, even if we are haunted by devils, I'm willing to bear all the consequences. Luo Shenlei coldly spoke. She opened her eyes and in an instant, a terrifying aura enveloped this entire space. A sea of blood manifested in her body as her long hair fluttered in the wind. The current her was so beautiful that it was demonic, so beautiful that it caused fear in others. This entire world transformed into a world of blood. The expressions of the two of them changed. They stared at Luo Shenlei as a look of terror appeared on their faces. You actually cultivated an evil art? Luo Shenlei, have you gone mad? Such a method would definitely cause a backlash. You actually learned from Yu Chongkong. So what if you eventually escaped and married into the Qin clan? You would become an evil devil, and after you exit this place, how would you have the face to return to the Luoshan clan? I've said it before. Even if I'm consigned to eternal damnation, I'll bear all the consequences. Luo Shenlei's expression was cold to the extreme. In the terrifying blood-colored world, numerous blood devils appeared. These were true demons. They were like cursed energy that gushed towards the two world overlords, wanting to devour them. These blood devils were all transformed from demonic beasts. What did Luo Shenlei experience during these years in the Demon Beast Mountain range? The two of them could sense the terrifying power contained within the blood devils. They felt boundless terror and some regret for forcing Luo Shenlei into such a desperate situation. Chapter 1835. The two world overlords of the Luoshan clan vanished. It was rumored that they disappeared when they were trying to capture Luo Shenlei. Luo Shenlei also vanished without a trace. The matter of the Qin clan's marriage proposal could only come to an end. However, this news still caused quite a commotion. Two powerful world overlords vanished for no reason at all. Clearly they had already died. Although Luo Shenlei also entered the world of reincarnation, in truth, her cultivation base was one of the weaker ones. This was also the case in the supreme ancient immortal realms. She couldn't kill the other two world overlords of the Luoshan clan, unless something happened to her. For those who came from the supreme ancient immortal realms, they were all very concerned about the people from the other hegemonic powers. Right now, they were already completely familiar with the world of reincarnation. Nothing could hide from their eyes and ears. Luo Shenlei disappeared. Goddess Nikhang also disappeared. Also, the people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy didn't dare to show themselves. It was like they knew that the people from the supreme ancient immortal realms wanted to capture them. Everyone was experiencing their own life in the world of reincarnation. The background of everyone here was similar to the ones in the supreme ancient immortal realms, but the trajectory of their lives was completely different. Time flowed by unknowingly. In the blink of an eye, tens of years had already passed in the world of reincarnation. It was like a dream. Everyone who came from the supreme ancient immortal realms seemed to have completely immersed themselves in the world of reincarnation. The experiences of tens of years were sufficient for one to be assimilated by the environment and get used to everything in the world of reincarnation. However, not much time had passed in the outside world. In the Tiandao Sacred Academy, the experts from the various powers were still there. Those heavenly deities didn't leave and were waiting for news from the legendary place. However, all of them had disappeared. Even their messaging crystals were useless. When they sent messages to their messaging crystals, there was no reply at all. If it wasn't for the fact that they knew that these people had entered the legendary place, everyone would have thought that all of them had died. The land of reincarnation was actually so powerful that it could even isolate messages. What sort of place is the legendary place exactly? At this moment, the heaven's son of the Qin clan, Qin Dang Tian, had a sharp gaze as he stared at the life-governed heavenly deity and the others from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. I've already said that we've never stepped into the legendary place. Why do you keep asking? If you want to go in, I won't stop you. The life-governed heavenly deity's attitude was still as cold as before. Qin Dongtian's gaze turned sharp as he stared at the life-governed heavenly deity. Back then, he initially wanted to enter. The entrance to the legendary place actually contained a Dao annihilation might, wanting to destroy the Dao he cultivated. This was something the prideful life-governed heavenly deity couldn't endure. Who would dare to snatch away everything he cultivated? Even if he knew it was fake, he couldn't. The various heavenly deities could only wait. They had no idea what the disciples of their sects were experiencing. However, most probably, even they themselves had no way to imagine what the disciples of their sects were experiencing in the legendary place. For example, Heaven's son Qin Dang Tian. He would never have imagined that there would be someone in the Qin clan who dared to covet goddess Nikhang. Not only that, they even acted on it. The heavenly deities of the Ziwei Divine Court wouldn't have imagined that Yu Changkong had devoured the other 3 experts of the Ziwei Divine Court and was currently enjoying boundless glory in the legendary place. The heavenly deities of the Luoshan clan naturally wouldn't imagine what the geniuses of the Luoshan clan were experiencing in there. In the world of reincarnation in the Moon God Hall. Today, Yu Changkong invited the 3 geniuses of the Qin clan for a gathering. They had long formed an alliance and had some sort of tacit understanding with each other. In fact, they even knew what techniques the other party cultivated. During these years, the world of reincarnation seems to have calmed down. Does anyone else have any thoughts? Has goddess Nikhang been found? Yu Changkong smiled as he stared at the 3 heavenly deities of the Qin clan. These 3 people dared to touch the woman beside the heaven's son. They were truly extremely gutsy. Most probably, although they were very respectful in front of Qin Dang Tian, in the depths of their hearts, they all had rebellious thoughts. They probably didn't want to continue living under the radiance of heaven's sun. With Qin Dang Tian around, when people mention the Qin clan, they would first think of the heaven's sun. They would never think of them. In the Qin clan, Qin Dongtian's words were authority. No one could doubt him, no one dared to doubt him. It was the same for them as well. Qin Dang Tian could even casually order them around. In truth, Qin Dang Tian was already a heavenly deity. It wasn't a big deal for them to obey a heavenly deity. This was something very normal. However, Qin Dang Tian wasn't born a heavenly deity. Once, when they were already famous in the Qin clan, Qin Dang Tian wasn't even born yet. When Qin Dang Tian was very young, he was already extremely domineering in the Qin clan. No one dared to antagonize him and he had no one in his eyes. Once he pointed at their noses and said that in the future, they would all be defeated by him. In truth, Qin Dang Tian had done it and he surpassed them by too much. None. An expert from the Qin clan coldly spoke, his tone filled with unhappiness. When they thought of goddess Nichang's beauty, their hearts started to stir as they felt some heat burning in their hearts. That was a woman that even Qin Dang Tian didn't manage to obtain. If they could obtain her. Every time they thought of this, they would feel a sense of joy in their hearts. As for the consequences, they already didn't want to consider it. Or more accurately, they didn't notice it. In truth, a devil had already formed in their hearts. Just like what the Pure Land of Bliss said, if one wanted to kill them, they had to first make them crazy. Haha. In this world of reincarnation, there are many outstanding beauties for everyone to enjoy. Sadly, Luo Xinlei ran away back then. Vnat? Yu Changkong laughed as he spoke until here. The eyes of the experts from the Qin clan flashed with a fiery light. This time around we came here because we wish to discuss a matter with Brother Changkong. The Qin clan's world overlord spoke. Yu Changkong's eyes flashed as he stared at the other party. Brother Qin, please speak. This time around, the Nine Heavens mystical palace also came to the world of reincarnation. The eyes of the Qin clan's world overlord gleamed sharply, causing Yu Changkong's eyes to gleam with a bright light as he started laughing uproariously. The Nine Heavens mystical palace was a hegemonic power in the heaven region. The palace lords of the past were known as the Nine Heavens mystical palace, and had the title of the number 1 immortal in the 9 heavens. Right now, these people from the Qin clan actually set their sights on the 9 heavens mystical palace. Such guts were simply too audacious. However, it didn't matter if there was one more enemy. They even dared to make a move against goddess Nikhang. What would the 9 heavens mystical palace not dare to do? Brother Qin, you guys have to think this through. If we join forces and act against the hegemonic powers from the supreme ancient immortal realms, we would surely attract the attention of others. They are all staring at us. Yu Chongkong wasn't a fool. For those who came from the supreme ancient immortal realms, there was a taboo between them. This was especially so now that they didn't know how their opponents were doing in the world of reincarnation. They didn't dare to underestimate their opponents. During these years, Yu Chongkong had done many things and many experts became nourishment for him. But even so, he didn't dare to feel that he would definitely be the number 1 among those who came from the supreme ancient immortal realms. Unless he broke through to the deity realm first, he wouldn't have any confidence. After all, there were some people who had hidden themselves much deeper than them. Brother Chongkong should also understand that all those who came from the supreme ancient immortal realms are our opponents. If we don't act against them sooner or later, there will be others acting against us. An expert from the Qin clan spoke. The world of reincarnation was the legendary place of the Tiandao Sacred Academy. But up till now, the mysteries of the world of reincarnation have yet to be unraveled. In that case, only by defeating all their opponents would they have a chance to unravel the mysteries. We can search for more allies. Another world overlord from the Qin clan spoke, his words causing Yu Chongkong's eyes to flash. This was a good idea. They would first join forces to deal with the others. Brother Qin, who are you preparing to ally with? Yu Chongkong asked. Qinkuan sect, Che clan, 5 Elements sect or Thunder clan? The powers he spoke of were all peak powers of the supreme ancient immortal realms. The Qinkuan sect was from the heaven region just like the Qin clan and had the title of Qinkuan Lord. The Che clan, 5 Elements sect, Thunder clan, they were all peak powers in the Desolate 8 region. The Che clan had the title of the number 1 weaponsmithing aristocrat clan in the supreme ancient immortal realms. The 5 Elements sect controlled the 5 elements of heaven and earth, and could transform them to the extreme, possessing boundless might. The Thunder clan controlled divine retribution, and had inconceivably powerful attacks. We still have to consider this matter carefully. A world overlord from the Qin clan spoke. Yu Chongkong nodded. All right, we can't be impulsive for this matter. We need to plan it out. The few of them discussed here as the demons in their hearts grew deeper and deeper. In truth, Yu Chongkong also discovered that he was sinking deeper and deeper. However, he didn't care. What he wanted was strength. He was willing to pay any price. At this moment, Qin Wentian came to a mountain range. During these years, he had been busy with cultivation. Other than cultivation, he was also searching for Luo Xunlei's whereabouts. After learning of the marriage proposal from the Qin clan and Luo Xunlei's disappearance, Qin Wentian had always been very worried. This was especially so after he heard the rumors that Luo Xunlei might have killed 2 powerful world overlords from the Luoxun clan. The worry in his heart grew even more intense. Hence, other than cultivating, he also started to search for Luo Xunlei's whereabouts. Right now, he also faintly found some clues. Right now, in this mountain range he was in, there were traces of Luo Xunlei. At this moment, he stood at the peak of the mountain range and stared at the sea of blood below. The entire mountain range was dyed red with blood. A ghastly sight to behold. Qin Wentian's heart also trembled. There. Qin Wentian mumbled. Where are you exactly? What did you experience? Why did you choose to walk on this path? He understood that Luo Xunlei most probably walked on the same path as Yu Chongkong. Don't you understand? In his mind a bewitching voice rang out. In the world of reincarnation, you all will eventually have to walk on this path. You have no choice. If not, based on your own comprehension, you will forever be slower than the cultivation speed of others. If you cultivate now, there's still time. If you are any later, you might truly be consigned to eternal damnation. Scram! Qin Wentian roared in rage. His expression was cold to the extreme. Every time his state of heart wavered, evil spirits would appear to bewitch him. Right now he felt increasingly disgusted. Most probably, these evil spirits were the ones who bewitched Lei Er. causing her to walk on this path. Chapter 1836. In the world of reincarnation, the experts were all focused on their cultivation. Many years passed and it was already unknown what level the others have reached. But for those experts from the supreme ancient immortal realms, they were all extremely talented characters. This was why they were sent to the legendary place in the Tiandao Sacred Academy. There was no need to doubt that their growth would definitely be extremely shocking. Finally, a battle broke the peace that had lasted for a long time. In an ancient city in the world of reincarnation, Yu Chongkong and the Qin clan's world overlord acted against the mystical maiden of the Nine Heavens mystical palace. It was rumored that goddess Nikhang also appeared there. Other than this, Yu Chongkong and the Qin clan also joined forces with a peak character from another power. It was the prison god clan from the Eternity region, an extremely powerful clan. The mystical maiden and goddess Nikhang were both captured. Coincidentally, the experts from the Qiankuan sect were there as well. Lin Xiao, a supreme character from the Qiankuan sect, was interested in the mystical maiden of this generation. He naturally acted to help and a heaven-shaking battle erupted. Yu Chongkong and the others actually didn't manage to capture the two of them. When this matter spread out, it instantly attracted the attention of all the experts from the supreme ancient immortal realms. After that, the experts from the various powers all rushed towards the ancient city. Yu Chongkong and the Qin clan were already so impudent? They actually acted against the mystical maiden of the Nine Heavens mystical palace? What were they planning to do exactly? The mystical maiden of this generation was the successor of the Nine Heavens mystical palace, the future #1 immortal in the Nine Heavens. Was Yu Chongkong crazy, or the experts from the Qin clan? Or could it be that they were preparing to join forces and capture all the experts from the supreme ancient immortal realms? This competition even caused a series of chain reactions. The powers behind them were all paying attention, but they seemed to have reached some sort of tacit agreement to not interfere, allowing the most outstanding figures in their sects and clans to fight on their own. Very soon news circulated out. Someone saw Luo Xinlei. Her entire person had changed and she was currently heading towards the ancient city. Many people said that she was going there for revenge, to find Yu Chongkong for revenge. After Qin Wentian heard that Lei was heading there, he didn't hesitate and directly headed there. He definitely couldn't allow anything to happen to Lei. Although Lei might have undergone some changes, her foundation was inferior to Yu Chongkong's. Also, Yu Chongkong had cultivated the evil arts for a longer period of time compared to her. His character was despicable and unscrupulous. Lei would most probably still lose if she fought against Yu Chongkong. For a period of time, in a certain ancient city in the world of reincarnation, powerful characters from all over the supreme ancient immortal realms descended. Back then it was Yu Chongkong and the Qin clan who invited everyone to a gathering to discuss how to deal with the people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. But this time around everyone headed there on their own initiative. It was still a conflict caused by Yu Chongkong and the Qin clan. This time around things wouldn't be as peaceful as before. Those peak characters from the supreme ancient immortal realms who have cultivated for many years most probably wouldn't have any patience. It has been many years since they came to the world of reincarnation from the supreme ancient immortal realms, but they still didn't know the secret of the legendary place. How should they be considered to have attained the Tao? In a certain courtyard in the ancient city, there were a few maidens here. One of them could be said to be a supreme beauty. Her skin was whiter than snow, and she had a countenance that was unrivaled under the heavens. Even when compared to goddess Nikhang, she wasn't inferior in any way. Goddess Nikhang was known as the #1 beauty of the heaven region. But in truth, there was one person that no one in the world dared to call her the #1 beauty of the Nine Heavens mystical palace. The Nine Heavens mystical maiden was the #1 beauty of the Nine Heavens. Her beauty was absolutely world-shaking, transcendent. The mystical maiden was the next generation successor of the Nine Heavens mystical palace. How could she be inferior? In truth, many people felt that the #1 beauty of the heaven region, the mystical maiden, should be ranked on the same level as goddess Nikhang. At this moment, not too far away from the mystical maiden of the Nine Heavens mystical palace, sat a young man. He was incomparably handsome, extremely handsome. Despite his young age, he had a transcendent demeanor. He was Lin Xiao, a supreme character of the Qiankuan sect, and was known as the future Qingkuan sect leader. His comprehension of the Qingkuan sect's ultimate art, the universe art, was extremely high. Right now he had already comprehended the universe diagram, allowing him to borrow the power of the heavens and earth to forge a supreme law body, suppressing the cosmos. Lin Xiao and the mystical maiden stood together, just like back then when Qin Dang Tian stood together with goddess Nikhang. They looked extremely harmonious, like Tao companions born from the heavens. However, if Lin Xiao wanted to marry the future number one beauty of the 9 heavens, this was an impossible task. How could the number one beauty of the 9 heavens marry someone? But if there was no challenge, what meaning was there to him, Lin Xiao? For ordinary beauties he could have as many as he wanted, because he was Lin Xiao. Right now many people have arrived. Lin Xiao spoke. The mystical maiden nodded her head lightly. Her expression was calm with no fluctuations at all. On her beautiful face, there seemed to be no fluctuations at all. Even if she was ambushed by the Qin clan and Yu Chongkong, there would be no fluctuations at all. Yu Chongkong and the others from the Qin clan are merely jumping clowns. I will accept their lives. Lin Xiao spoke again. Have you thought this through? Kill the people from the Qin clan? The mystical maiden inclined her head and stared at Lin Xiao. Although her expression was as calm as ever, a faint fluctuation could be seen in her eyes. The Qin clan, Qingkuan sect, 9 heavens mystical palace, all of them stood at the peak of the heaven region. Right now, the Qin clan was in a golden age. Heaven's son Qin Dang Tian was the future ruler of the Qin clan. His existence caused all the geniuses in the heaven region to lose their luster. These people from the Qin clan won't be able to achieve anything great. With Qin Dang Tian around, they would never be able to rise up. They might even walk the path of evil. Since they dared to act against you, so what if you kill them? Lin Xiao calmly replied. If Qin Dang Tian knows that you killed the people from the Qin clan, he definitely wouldn't let this matter rest. In the future, if I manage to become a heavenly deity, I will have to fight against Heaven's Son sooner or later. Lin Xiao's expression was as calm as ever, like he was talking about an ordinary matter. He didn't have the people from the Qin clan in the world of reincarnation in his eyes at all. His target was the all-powerful Heaven's Son of the Qin clan. There are rumors that the legendary place of the Sacred Academy has been opened, causing a huge change in the Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms. Who do you think the future Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms would belong to? The mystical maiden asked. Me. Lin Xiao laughed. After that, he continued, other than me, there might also be Heaven's Son Qin Dang Tian and 7 abstinences from the Pure Land of Bliss. This reverend from the Buddhist sect has unfathomable depths. Naturally, the people from the Che clan, God-destroying palace and prison god clan aren't too bad as well. Naturally, there's also you. The Tiandao Sacred Academy bestowed the title of Mystical Maiden to the Heavenly Tao rankings. Are there no people on the rankings that could enter your eyes? The Mystical Maiden laughed. The rankers on the Heavenly Tao rankings of the Ziwei Divine Court were all killed by someone like Yu Chongkong. What else can we say? Although the rankers on the Heavenly Tao rankings all have the potential to become heavenly deities, you are asking who the future Supreme Ancient Immortal Realms belongs to. Even ordinary heavenly deities wouldn't have enough weight, right? However, Gu Ting from the Great Devil Divine Palace should be considered a character. The Qingcheng Realm Lord Qin Wentian shot to fame after a single battle, and was accepted by the Tiandao Sacred Academy. In fact, it's rumored that he obtained the recognition of the Time King, and directly entered the Heavenly Tao rankings. What about him? The mystical maiden commented. I don't understand him at all. Lin Xiao laughed. Qin Wentian had just become famous not long ago. Hence, Lin Xiao didn't understand him and didn't give any evaluation. Seems like you are filled with disdain for Yu Chongkong. The mystical maiden calmly spoke. Someone who deceives the world to gain fame. For the sake of climbing up, he would do anything. Most probably there's no despicable thing he wouldn't do. Could it be that I need to look up to such a person? Lin Xiao spoke. However, it's precisely such a despicable person who is the most dangerous. Don't forget that in the battle earlier, even when facing against you, he wasn't at a disadvantage at all. The Empyrean maiden looked at Lin Xiao, disagreeing with his opinion. Evil and treacherous people, their temperaments are similarly extremely tenacious. They can abandon everything, abandon their conscience, sell their souls, and are extremely vicious and evil. More often than not, these kinds of people can become extremely terrifying existences. We need to be vigilant against them. What you said seems logical. Lin Xiao calmly nodded. But in his heart, he still looked down on people like Yu Changkong. Speaking of that expert from the God-exterminating palace, I have to remind you all to be careful of him. He should have already arrived. The danger of this person is definitely not inferior to Yu Changkong. The mystical maiden spoke, as though she was wary of an existence. That expert from the God-exterminating palace was definitely a character that caused headaches. No matter who faced him, they had to be extremely wary of him. I know. Lin Xiao nodded. This time around, the people from the supreme ancient immortal realms gathered here again. Most probably, things wouldn't end so peacefully like before. Tens of years ago, everyone merely glanced at each other. In fact, there were some who didn't even arrive, and there were also some who didn't say anything from the start to the end. They only quietly glanced at each other before they returned. Just like what the mystical maiden and Lin Xiao discussed, the people from the various powers had indeed arrived. At this moment, that expert from the God-exterminating palace they were talking about was currently standing on top of an ancient palace in the ancient city. Under the moonlight, he stared at the city. His eyes were extremely cold. This coldness seemed to originate from his soul. Other than him, an expert from the Che clan also arrived. That expert from the Che clan who was listed by Lin Xiao as one of the future peak characters of the Che clan was currently roaming around the ancient city, as though he was busy with something, carving something in the city. However, all of this was done silently. Outside the city, several monks from the Pure Land of Bliss stared in the direction of the city gate as they pressed their palms together. This ancient city was about to suffer a calamity. Their senior brother Seven Abstinences went to the Western Paradise to seek the Buddhist Tao. They had no idea how he was doing. Even before he returned, a storm was already brewing. In a small courtyard in the city, a pitch-black figure sat cross-legged. Her countenance was pale and beautiful, so beautiful that it was demonic. Her entire person seemed to have melded into the darkness. This time around, she came here for the sake of revenge. Yu Changkong had to pay the price for his actions. In another courtyard in the city, a young man stood with his hands clasped behind his back. He stared at Yi Kong and sighed in his heart. Lei Er should have already arrived, but he had no idea where she was. Chapter 1837. On this day in the ancient city, white clouds floated in the sky and a gentle breeze blew, making people feel refreshed. In the central region of the ancient city, there was an empty platform. The ground was extremely clean without a speck of dust. There was a group of people setting up a banquet there. Many people sat on the ground drinking wine and making merry. These people all had extraordinary auras. The men were handsome, and there were beauties accompanying them. In the distance, many people glanced over and discussed. Those people seated here were all supreme characters from the peak powers of the world of reincarnation. Among them there was the supreme genius of the Moon God Hall, Yu Changkong, as well as the three peak characters of the Qin clan. It was said that all of them were existences nearing the divinity realm and had unfathomable cultivation bases. Other than Yu Changkong and the experts from the Qin clan, there were also experts from the third hegemonic power in the supreme ancient immortal realms. They were from the prison god clan of the Eternity region. That supreme character from the Eternal region prison god race was none other than the expert who formed an alliance with Yu Changkong and the three experts from the Qin clan, wanting to deal with the mystical maiden together. Today they were drinking wine here as if they were waiting for something, because they knew that the experts of the various powers had already entered this ancient city, and they were probably not far away now. Since someone is here, why not have a drink with us? At this moment Yu Changkong spoke. It was unknown who he was talking to. From the crowd, a few groups of people walked out. They were from different factions, and among them, there were experts from the Great Devil Divine Palace as well as experts from the Earth Thunder clan. How elegant of you all! The voice of the Thunder clan's world overlord was like thunder. Just a casual sentence from him would cause the heavens and earth to tremble, causing the eardrums of everyone to tremble. I've heard that the Earth Thunder clan is known to control the power of divine punishment in the world. Using the power of lightning as a guide, They can send down divine punishment. The last time we met, we couldn't have a good chat. Now that we meet again, we must drink to our heart's content." Yu Changkong laughed. The Thunder Clan's expert sat down and wasn't polite at all. He stared at Yu Changkong. "Is that so? What about after we drink to our heart's content? I heard that the two of you joined hands to deal with the Empyrean Fairy. How bold of you, your intentions are worthy of death." Since these people could form an alliance to deal with the mystical maiden, they could also form an alliance to deal with him and everyone else from the supreme ancient immortal realms. Haha, I know that all of you have doubts in your hearts. That's why I've been waiting here. It just so happens that I can use this opportunity to meet all of you again and truly communicate with you. How delightful would that be? Yu Changkong laughed uproariously, completely ignoring the words of the other party. Right now, since everyone already knew, there was no longer a need to hide anything. Everyone could step out and compete against each other. If it was before, you wouldn't have the right to sit with me and drink. Gu Ting coldly spoke. Clearly, he also looked down on Yu Changkong. Gu Ting naturally could sense how despicable Yu Changkong was. Yu Changkong narrowed his eyes and glanced at Gu Ting. However, the smile on his face was as deep as ever. But the current him only made people feel that he was like a venomous snake. "I'm here to join in the fun." Another voice rang out. Devilox from the Divine Ox clan walked out. After that, more and more experts arrived. All of them were people from the supreme ancient immortal realms. Only they knew everything and rushed here. At this moment, the gazes of the crowd turned to a certain direction. A group of figures walked over. One of them was a maiden with supreme beauty, exuding boundless magnificence, causing many people to be mesmerized by her beauty. Even for those peak characters from the supreme ancient immortal realms, they couldn't help but to praise her in their hearts. The beauty of the mystical maiden from the Nine Heavens mystical palace was truly stunning. Her beauty was comparable to goddess Nikhang. The people from the Nine Heavens mystical palace also arrived. Lin Xiao came along with them as well. His gaze was cold when he stared at Yu Changkong and the experts from the Qin clan, filled with unmasked killing intent. Regardless of Lin Xiao from the Chenkuan sect or the mystical maiden from the Nine Heavens mystical palace, even though they were targeted by Yu Changkong and the others, they didn't hide and directly walked out. This was a form of confidence in their own strength. "Brother Che, since you are here, why don't you come out together with us?" Lin Xiao calmly spoke. From the crowd, a young man dressed in simple robes walked out. His face was angular and his deep eyes contained traces of the passage of time. Clearly, his actual age was far from what he appeared to be. Cheing from the Che clan. Many people involuntarily turned their gazes to him. He came from the Che clan of the Earth region, the #1 weaponsmithing aristocrat clan in the supreme ancient immortal realms. The Che clan was famous for their weaponsmithing. Even the various peak powers all hoped to have a good relationship with the Che clan. In the supreme ancient immortal realms, there were many peak powers below the heavenly deity race. I heard that there was an extremely fascinating battle not long ago. Sadly, I missed it. I wonder if I can make up for my regret today and broaden my horizons. Cheing calmly spoke. He was naturally referring to the battle between Yu Changkong and the other two hegemonic powers against the mystical maiden and Lin Xiao. There shouldn't be a problem. Yu Changkong calmly smiled. It shouldn't be just these people who have arrived, right? Right now, since some things have already happened, it meant that everyone has already torn off their masks. In that case, there was no need to hide anything anymore. Today, experts from the various powers gathered here. There would definitely be a clash between them. It was unavoidable. I heard that you Cheing have shocking capabilities and are able to refine everything in the world into divine weapons. Today, I also wish to broaden my horizons. An expert from the Thunder Clan stared at Cheing as he spoke. His eyes gleamed with lightning, filled with a hint of provocation. After that, more and more experts from the peak powers of the supreme ancient immortal realms arrived. The number of people here had already reached more than half. At this moment, an extremely intense blood qi descended. The gazes of the crowd turned in that direction, and after that, they only saw a wave of coldness. An absolutely beautiful silhouette walked over. Her figure was like a phantom. Her features were outstanding, but she gave off an extremely cold feeling. No one dared to get too close to her. It was as though she was extremely dangerous. At the instant they saw her, the eyes of the 3 experts from the Qin clan brightened. Just like when they saw the mystical maiden, unmasked greed could be seen in their eyes. Yu Changkong's eyes flashed. After that he laughed. Truly there was a path to heaven, but she didn't want to take it. Since she took the initiative to send herself to him, there was no need for him to look for her anymore. As long as he captured her, given the unclear relationship between Qin Wentian and Luo Xunlei, there was no need to worry that Qin Wentian wouldn't appear. Right? Although he had become extremely strong in the world of reincarnation, there was still a knot in his heart that had yet to be unraveled. That knot was none other than Qin Wentian. Seems like Luo Xunlei has truly fallen. Upon sensing the change in Luo Xunlei's aura, it was much stronger compared to the past, and she didn't even bother to mask it. Clearly, she had cultivated an evil art and was rapidly growing stronger. Hence he came here to look for Yu Changkong. Far away in the crowd, Qin Wentian was there as well. When he saw Luo Xunlei and sensed her aura, he felt an unbearable feeling in his heart. The lines on his face changed, returning to his original appearance as he walked towards the crowd. When Qin Wentian walked over, Yu Changkong was first stunned. After that, the smile on his face grew even wider. Qin Wentian actually appeared just like that. Back then in the convention, there was already an ambiguous relationship between Qin Wentian and Luo Xunlei. Now the moment Luo Xunlei appeared, Qin Wentian also walked out. Seems like their relationship truly wasn't ordinary. The people from the Qin clan also saw Qin Wentian. All of them had faint smiles on their faces. When Luo Xunlei saw Qin Wentian walking over, her cold heart involuntarily trembled. She called out in her heart, "Elder brother." Qin Wentian appeared after her. Clearly he came out because of her. Seems like today is a good day. A heavenly deity disciple of the Tiandao Sacred Academy has appeared. Everyone will have a chance to decipher the secrets. An expert from the Qin clan calmly spoke. The gazes of everyone turned to Qin Wentian, staring at the handsome young man before them. To many people, they had no impression of Qin Wentian. At most, they were like Lin Xiao. They had heard of the Qingcheng Realm Lord's name before, but they had no understanding of him. "Elder brother, why did you come?" Luo Xunlei transmitted her voice to Qin Wentian. There was some bitterness in her voice. This was her matter, the hatred she had shouldered. Grandpa Lifeless died because of her. No matter what, she had to face it. Either Yu Changkong died or she would die. But now she implicated her elder brother. She truly didn't want this to happen. Many people here were once bewitched by Yu Changkong. They didn't have any goodwill towards the people from the Tiandao Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian's appearance was even more dangerous compared to her. Yu Changkong wanted to deal with him, the people from the Qin clan wanted to deal with him. As for the others, there might be people who wanted to make him stay. "Silly lass, it's because you are my younger sister." Qin Wentian transmitted his voice in reply. His tone was filled with doting love. He only had this one younger sister, a younger sister who was connected to him by blood. How could he not step out? Even if he knew the danger, he still didn't hesitate. Luo Xunlei's eyes were red. Upon seeing this scene, Yu Changkong coldly laughed. There's no need to communicate through voice transmissions anymore. Seems like the two of you are a pair of lovers. Yu Changkong, your despicableness has already surpassed my imagination. After the matters of the past were exposed, you can actually still live until now, living in shame. Even if you use all sorts of despicable methods, you won't be able to wash away everything. You, Yu Changkong, will forever be nothing more than a shameless villain. Qin Wentian stared at Yu Changkong as he mocked. It was like he had poked at Yu Changkong's sore spot. Qin Wentian narrowed his eyes and placed the wine cup in his hand down. He slowly stood up as a terrifying aura gushed forth frenziedly. He initially didn't want to start the battle so soon. He initially wanted to sit down and chat with everyone to create the atmosphere. Sadly, there were some people who seemed to be in a hurry to die. Everyone was watching with great interest. They didn't expect that the battle would start so soon. Although your words are logical and he is indeed a despicable villain, today, his life is mine. A voice rang out. Upon seeing Yu Changkong standing up, Lin Xiao placed the wine cup in his hand down. He inclined his head as his eyes gleamed with the light of the universe. Chapter 1838. Yu Changkong glanced at Lin Xiao. In the past, he had already fought against Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao was truly very powerful. Most probably, before Lin Xiao entered the world of reincarnation, he was already a terrifying world overlord. If it was in the past, Lin Xiao would be able to kill him easily in the supreme ancient immortal realms. But things were different now. This place was the world of reincarnation. He, Yu Changkong, was no longer the Yu Changkong of the past. Yu Changkong slowly rose up into the air. He stared at everyone and smiled. If anyone wants to fight, feel free to come. I'm willing to accompany you. Back then we didn't have a good fight. Since everyone is gathered here today, I hope you all won't have any regrets. His words seemed to contain a deeper meaning. Today the experts of the various powers have all arrived. Would they be able to settle things here in the world of reincarnation? The experts from the Qing clan and Prison God clan all put down the wine cups in their hands as their eyes gleamed with coldness. The secret of the world of reincarnation had yet to be unraveled. In that case, they naturally felt that if they wanted to verify their Tao in the legendary place, they had to become the only existence here. This wasn't only their thoughts, many people were thinking the same as well. The true legend only belonged to a single person, the most dazzling person. Only to see that at this moment, an extremely evil and terrifying aura descended, enveloping the entire space. For a period of time, the Qianquan world suddenly changed. Black fog churned as the clouds turned black. Even the heavens and earth dimmed as the entire world was filled with a sense of oppression. Yu Changkong stood in the air, resembling an evil god. Behind him, many howling heads could be seen. Each of the heads radiated a different kind of terrifying energy, causing people to feel fear from the depths of their souls. Finally, he no longer needs to hide? Everyone stared at the current Yu Changkong. This was the true him in the world of reincarnation. Right now, everyone in the supreme ancient immortal realms knew that Yu Changkong cultivated an evil art. There was no longer a need for him to continue hiding. What he wanted now was to kill everyone here. From now onwards, he would become the only existence in the world of reincarnation. The people in the center of the ancient city inclined their heads and stared at the sky. All of them could sense that terrifying aura. That terrifying might cause their hearts to palpitate, causing them to feel terror. Their bodies involuntarily retreated madly, wanting to get further away from this area. However, they discovered that no matter how they retreated, they were still enveloped by this might. They had no way to escape. Yu Changkong was too powerful. When his strength erupted forth, the radius of his envelopment was extremely vast. Lin Xiao inclined his head and stared at the skies. His silhouette flashed as he soared up into the clouds, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. In an instant, an incomparably resplendent treasure light radiated from behind him. That was the light of heaven and earth, borrowing the energy of the heavens and earth to transform into a Qianquan formation diagram. The energy of the heavens and earth frenziedly converged, circulating around it. It was as though the energy of the heavens and earth could be used by him. Heaven Region Qianquan Sect. Qin Wentian stared at Lin Zhao's silhouette. When he was in the Heavenly Tao Library in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, he had learned about the various hegemonic powers in the supreme ancient immortal realms. The Qianquan sect leader of the Heaven region was definitely one of the strongest hegemonic powers. The Qianquan sect leader was an unparalleled character, terrifying to the extreme. He was someone who truly controlled the universe. The Qianquan sect ultimately transformed all energy into Qianquan energy, transforming it into a Qianquan art. The Qianquan formation diagram behind Lin Xiao flashed with light. However, if it was someone from the Qianquan sect, because the attribute energy they cultivated was different, the radiance and power of the Qianquan formation diagram would naturally be different. A terrifying aura descended from the sky. The head behind Yu Changkong suddenly radiated a heaven-shaking might. An evil head ferociously lunged towards Lin Xiao, exuding a fearsome Tao might. Yu Changkong cultivated an evil devouring art. The comprehensions of the experts he devoured would all be absorbed into his body. Their Tao arts could be condensed into evil heads, and their energy could be converted into powerful devouring energy. Hence, the current Yu Changkong no longer possessed his original strength. Instead, it contained the comprehensions and abilities of many experts. During these years, he naturally didn't waste his time. The number of experts he devoured in the world of reincarnation was simply too many. Qiankuan single sword. Lin Xiao folded hand seals. In an instant, a resplendent beam of sword light shot out from the Qiankuan formation diagram, piercing through space and collided with the evil head. The two of them directly exploded together as a fearsome might permeated the air. Black fog churned in the air. It was like the end of the world. Numerous evil heads appeared, each of them containing a fearsome might. After that, they all lunged towards Lin Xiao. The Qiankuan formation diagram behind Lin Xiao radiated boundless light. After that, boundless Qiankuan energy transformed into sharp swords, illuminating the darkness in the sky. The countless sharp swords swept through the air, wanting to annihilate everything. However, this wasn't the end of this art. Lin Xiao folded hand seals. The Qiankuan formation diagram behind him was still connected to each of the Qiankuan swords. After that, the millions of sword light converged together once more, transforming into a beam of light that could annihilate gods and devils. This beam of light pierced through the darkness and shot up into the sky. This world-shaking attack seemed to be able to break apart the universe. Its might was heaven-shaking. The eyes of the experts in the surroundings gleamed with sharpness as they stared at the battle in the air. Both of them were very powerful, so powerful that it caused their hearts to palpitate. This battle naturally had to be watched carefully. Although they came to this world to recultivate, everyone had grown to a shocking extent. Many of them even surpassed the past. Yu Changkong's pitch-black eyes gleamed with a terrifying coldness when facing this attack that could kill gods and devils. There was no fear at all. He opened his mouth and the countless skulls in the sky opened their mouths at the same time, sucking the sword into their mouths. But even so, the black fog behind Yu Changkong churned madly as many of the skulls exploded. But in the end, that sword dissipated into nothingness, as though it was completely digested by the black fog. Upon seeing this power, Qin Wentian understood that the current Yu Changkong was no longer the Yu Changkong of the past. He had already forgotten all of his past techniques. Right now, he could only use the evil arts, because the evil arts bestowed him with even greater power. Not bad. Yu Changkong coldly spoke. A malevolent smile could be seen on his evil face as an incomparably gigantic evil law body appeared behind him. The head of this law body was so big that it blotted out the sky. A terrifying pitch-black palm stretched out from the head and blasted towards Lin Xiao below, containing the power to destroy everything. At the same time, the energy in the surroundings frenziedly gathered on this palm. Upon sensing the power contained within this attack, the formation diagram behind Yu Changkong grew even more resplendent. Qiankuan light shone on him as a similar law body appeared behind him. This law body was like a divinity that enveloped him. Universe boundless law body. Lin Xiao stood there, allowing his opponent's terrifying palm imprint to blast over and land on the infinite universe Dharma body. That Dharma body seemed to shatter and disintegrate, looking as if it was about to shatter, yet it instantly condensed back into a form. Destroyed and reborn, born and destroyed again. The infinite universe Dharma body was immortal and indestructible. Powerful. Everyone silently mused. Qin Wentian couldn't help but to sigh in admiration. The current Yu Changkong was much stronger compared to the past. This Lin Xiao from the Qiankuan sect was also extremely terrifying, as expected of the supreme world overlord of the Qiankuan sect. In the heaven region, Lin Xiao was also an extremely famous character, the same as the mystical maiden from the Nine Heavens mystical palace. He was only slightly inferior when compared to Heaven's Son because Heaven's Son, Qin Dang Tian, had already become a deity. At this moment, the experts from the Qin clan flew towards Luo Xunlei. When they stared at Luo Xunlei's beautiful face, greed could be seen in their eyes. Although the current Luo Xunlei also exuded an evil and seductive aura, she was even more attractive to them, causing them to want to obtain her. A terrifying blood qi circulated around Luo Xunlei. Her aura grew increasingly demonic. An incarnation of a blood queen appeared behind her, causing the entire space to turn into a purgatory of blood. Numerous terrifying blood demon souls manifested. All of them were saint beasts of the demon race. Each of them radiated an aura that would cause one's heart to palpitate. The Qin clan originally already had an extremely deep grudge with Luo Xunlei. Her father, the Sky Order heavenly deity, was crippled in the hands of Heaven's Son Qin Dangtun. Right now in the world of reincarnation, the people of the Qin clan actually forced her to marry him. This grudge had to be settled. Quickly capture her. The three experts from the Qin clan transmitted their voices to each other. The experts here were as many as the clouds and everyone was watching the show. They mustn't waste too much time on Luo Xunlei. The people of the Qin clan are actually so despicable. Qin Wentian spoke. He took a step out and directly appeared beside Luo Xunlei, facing the three experts from the Qin clan. This was the first time he directly faced someone from the Qin clan. Although he had seen Heaven's son Qin Dangtian before, the him now basically didn't have the strength to fight against Qin Dangtian. I will deal with him. The two of you go and capture Luo Xunlei. A genius from the Qin clan spoke. His aura was terrifying as he directly walked towards Qin Wentian. A disciple of the Tiandao Sacred Academy? I'm also somewhat interested. On the other side, a powerful expert from the Prison God clan also walked over, walking towards Qin Wentian. A towering might gushed forth from him as he grabbed out in the air. In an instant, a spatial prison appeared in the air, shining with boundless light, locking down the space where Qin Wentian was at. This spatial prison gleamed with incomparably resplendent light, like a prison used to imprison gods. It was indestructible. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the spatial prison. In his mind, he recalled the introduction of the Prison God clan in the Heavenly Tao Library. They were able to create the strongest spatial prison in the world. Those who were imprisoned here would be imprisoned for eternity. Right now, this spatial prison wanted to imprison him. Imprison me? Qin Wentian stared at the expert from the Prison God clan. His expression was extremely cold. Today, Yu Chongkong and the experts from the Qin clan were already very difficult to deal with. Now that the Qin clan acted against Luo Xunlei, the expert from the Prison God clan actually acted against him. Since this was the case, the Prison God clan was his enemy. Seal! A terrifying sealing energy brewed in the air. Numerous sealing gates appeared in the air, unceasingly smashing into the spatial prison. Since the experts of the Prison God clan wanted to create a prison here to trap Qin Wentian and Qin Wentian might as well fight to the death together with him. In the world of reincarnation, everyone could comprehend and use any law attribute energy. Hence, to Qin Wentian, the sealing law attribute was something he was born with. Chapter 1839. That expert from the Prison God clan was named Gui Chan. He was a peak-level world overlord from the Prison God clan. Among the experts from the Prison God clan who entered the world of reincarnation, his strength was the strongest and his status was the highest. He has already comprehended the Tao of banishment, able to imprison people for eternity within the void, allowing them to live and die on their own. However, when he used the spatial divine prison to seal Qin Wentian, he didn't expect Qin Wentian to be proficient in sealing energy. Qin Wentian, who could easily enter the spatial divine prison, was also sealed within. Gui Chan inclined his head and stared at the sealed space. The flowing sealing light was terrifying to the extreme. Gui Chen's expression was cold as he grabbed out with his palm towards Qin Wentian. In an instant, a formless energy directly stretched out, grabbing onto Qin Wentian. This formless energy seemed to originate from the void, manifesting numerous gigantic palms on Qin Wentian's body. Qin Wentian willed it as an energy that could control everything in this world descended. Although this place was the world of reincarnation and the energy here was different from the past, the great Taos were interlinked. The energy of world hearts existed in a different form in this world of reincarnation. In this sealed space, a formless tempest manifested, transforming into a terrifying might that blasted onto him, directly shattering the gigantic palm imprints. Boom! In an instant, another prison manifested from the void, directly enveloping Qin Wentian, imprisoning him within. This prison wasn't as large as the one before, but its might was still shocking. Gui Chen's methods were simply formless. As a supreme world overlord from the Prison God clan, there was no need to doubt his strength. Freeze! Qin Wentian spoke. The flowing light around the prison seemed to freeze. After that, Qin Wentian stabbed out with a finger as the still prison directly crumbled apart. He turned his gaze to Gui Chan and could sense the terrifying fluctuations from the void. His body radiated an incomparably powerful sealing light that shot into the void. After that, his Tao bone shone with resplendent light as a terrifying time and tint descended. Even in the world of reincarnation, His Dao bone was still present in his body. Beams of incomparably resplendent light radiated from his body, shuttling through the void. Everywhere he passed by, everything would be frozen in time. Right now, the energy he comprehended had even fused with the power of sealing. That power that could freeze everything shot towards Guichan. Guichan furrowed his brows when he sensed it. Resplendent treasured light circulated around him, causing him to be in an absolute space. When the power of freezing time flowed past him, the space he was in seemed to belong to him alone. He wasn't frozen in time. His eyes were as cold and tyrannical as ever as he stared at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian took a step forward. He sealed the space and fought to the death, but he didn't want to waste time here. Outside, Layer was still facing powerful enemies. He sealed the space because he wanted to end the battle as quickly as possible. Hence, he didn't even bother to conceal the power of his Dao bone and directly unleashed it. With a flash, he vanished from his original location and directly appeared in front of the absolute space Guichan was in. To characters at their level, close combat was extremely dangerous. If they were the slightest bit careless, they would be consigned to eternal damnation. The vast majority of battles were settled by relying on the might of their Dao arts and world hearts. Their attack range was extremely vast, and there was no need for them to get close to their opponents. However, Qin Wentian chose to get close. He wanted to finish his opponent quickly. In that case, he needed to strike out with lightning speed. When Qin Wentian appeared in front of the absolute space, the boundless energy in the world gushed into Qin Wentian's body. The sealing light circulating in the air also frenziedly flowed into his body. From his fingertips, a terrifying power of light and darkness gushed forth, exuding a power that would cause one's heart to tremble. It was like all the comprehensions he had gained through these years were all gathered at his fingertips. Erupt! His finger technique blasted towards the absolute space, penetrating through it. Guichan seemed to have sensed something, but it was already too late. He didn't expect Qin Wentian's methods to be so intense. As the finger landed, a terrifying energy penetrated through the absolute space and landed on his body. At this instant, Guichan felt a fear that came from the depths of his soul. He felt that he was about to die. His life was about to stop at this moment. There was no destructive power. That attack wasn't tyrannical, but he truly felt that his life was about to end. It was as though this was a restriction on his life. This power wanted to seal his life force, causing him to die formlessly. Even his soul felt as though it was out of his control. He was Guichan from the Prison God clan. Guichan was an extremely powerful existence, a future heavenly deity. How could he be willing to die like this? An astonishing power erupted from his body, gushing out from his heart. At this moment, Guichan truly seemed like a god. It was as though he himself was a Dharma body that blocked all the invading powers. His body was an absolute space, no power could invade it. A beam of light flashed as Guichan directly shot out, breaking through the power of the seal, breaking through the prison he had set up and rushed into the void. With a thunderous boom, the prison broke apart. Qin Wentian walked out from within. His expression was like ice as he stared at Guichan. The people in the surroundings all felt shock in their hearts when they saw this scene. The Qingcheng realm lord who just rose to fame during the convention was actually able to fight against Guichan from the Prison God clan? If one were to talk about the time he rose to fame, Qin Wentian definitely rose to fame very late. He could be considered a rising star among the younger generations. Being recruited by the Tiandao Sacred Academy and being ranked on the Heavenly Dao rankings was an acknowledgement of his talent and potential. But as for his combat prowess, many people didn't believe in it. This was especially so when his opponent was a peak genius from the Prison God clan, Guichan. Initially, everyone thought that this would be a one-sided battle, but the truth seemed to be different. This Qingcheng realm lord actually managed to force Guichan to retreat. Gu Ting from the Great Devil Divine Palace and the experts from the Heavenly Deity Mountain were all from the Mystic region. They were the most shocked by this scene. Seems like many people have underestimated this Qingcheng realm lord. It wouldn't be so easy for someone to capture him and force him to reveal the secrets of the world of reincarnation. What technique is that? Guichan stared at Qin Wentian as he asked. That feeling earlier was too deep in his heart. Although he has already broken free, he still felt a lingering fear in his heart. He absolutely didn't want to experience it again. It was too dangerous. In fact, he might even die silently without any pain. Qin Wentian ignored him. His silhouette was like lightning as he sped towards Luo Xunlei's battlefield. The three experts from the Qin clan all cultivated evil arts. Although Luo Xunlei was already very powerful now, it was still impossible for her to stand against them. In the supreme ancient immortal realms, her strength was originally inferior to the three world overlords of the Qin clan. Right now, it was already extremely difficult for her to endure against them. Yu Changkong has been paying attention to Qin Wentian. From the moment Qin Wentian arrived here, he didn't feel too much hatred for the others. It was only for the sake of cultivation that he had to trample on their corpses to advance. However, it was different for Qin Wentian. This was someone he truly hated. Upon seeing Qin Wentian forcing Guichun to retreat, a cold smile appeared on Yu Changkong's face. He silently mused, as expected, "You didn't disappoint me." He had always felt that his talent was extremely high. The truth was indeed so. If not, he wouldn't have dared to pretend to be a God King's successor, and even obtained the recognition of the heavenly deities of the Ziwei Divine Court. However, the heavens actually created a Qingcheng Realm Lord who participated in the convention with him. All the glory seemed to belong to this Qingcheng Realm Lord, snatching away everything that belonged to Yu Changkong. Hence Qin Wentian had to die. "The grudge between us, I will settle it later." Yu Changkong's silhouette flashed. He actually gave up on Lin Xiao, who was fighting against him, and sped towards Qin Wentian's location. Lin Xiao frowned and glanced in Yu Changkong's direction. Yu Changkong, who cultivated an evil art, was truly very powerful. He had the insights of so many people gathered on him. Most probably, his devouring evil art had used many people as nourishment. One could foresee that his final target would be these peak characters from the supreme ancient immortal realms. If he could devour these people, Yu Changkong would most probably be able to easily ascend to the heavenly divinity realm. "Qin Wentian!" Yu Changkong let out a thunderous roar, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Numerous terrifying heads directly rushed towards Qin Wentian, each of them containing a fearsome Dao might. An incomparably resplendent light radiated from Qin Wentian as rumbling sounds echoed out. Qin Wentian blasted out with a fist art that transformed into boundless fist light, containing a fearsome might as it blasted into the heads, shattering them. Yu Changkong's silhouette directly appeared before him. His cold and evil eyes gleamed with a sinister light, as well as a hint of malevolence. Finally, he stood before Qin Wentian again. From the day he became strong, he had always been dreaming about this day. He wanted to wash away all the humiliation he suffered and devour Qin Wentian, turning him into nourishment. "Have you ever thought that there would be a day like this?" Yu Changkong spoke to Qin Wentian. As he spoke, the evil head behind him also spoke, causing the entire space to tremble. An extremely cold killing intent flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. Back then, because the hegemonic level world overlord of the Ziwei Divine Court was present, although he exposed Yu Changkong, the Ziwei Divine Court still brought him away. He had no way to kill them. He didn't expect that Yu Changkong actually managed to survive, living on with so much hatred. Right now, there was a high possibility that Yu Changkong might have already devoured his fellow sect members from the Ziwei Divine Court. His eyes gleamed with an evil light. The power of the evil art unceasingly influenced the minds of people. It was unknown if they themselves were aware that they were being corroded by the evil art. Right now, regardless of Yu Changkong or the experts from the Qin clan, all of them have already walked on a path of madness. In fact, they even placed their evil thoughts on the Nine Heavens mystical palace. Right now, Yu Changkong wanted to devour everyone here. Boom! A surge of absolute power bore down. Qin Wentian soared up into the air. He didn't say anything, only his heart was filled with coldness and killing intent. Chapter 1840. When Yu Changkong saw Qin Wentian rushing towards him, the look in his eyes turned extremely demonic. The sky churned as countless heads manifested from the black fog. At this moment, all of them erupted forth. Even when he fought against Lin Xiao earlier, his might wasn't as terrifying as this. In this boundlessly vast space, it was like the end of the world had arrived. Those heads let out terrifying roars, each of them filled with boundless resentment and the might of magical arts. From afar, the spectators whose wills weren't resolute directly succumbed to it. Some even bled from their 7 apertures and died. There were also some who instantly turned mad and howled madly. This scene was too terrifying. The space where Qin Wentian was at was about to be completely buried. Yu Changkong didn't plan to play with Qin Wentian slowly. He wanted to use the most violent method to suppress Qin Wentian before torturing him to death, making him feel so much pain that he would rather die than live. However, at this moment, not only did Qin Wentian's speed not slow down, he sped up even more. It felt like the flow of time around him was changing while the flow of time around Qin Wentian seemed to be slowed down. One fast, one slow. In the eyes of everyone, they only felt that Qin Wentian was like a bolt of lightning, rushing towards Yu Changkong with no fear at all. The two of them had no patience to continue fighting. It felt like both of them wanted to fight it out in a single blow. Courting death. Yu Changkong roared. The countless heads condensed into a gigantic devil head that shot towards Qin Wentian, who was like a beam of light. Time freeze. A treasured light radiated from Qin Wentian as the power of his Dao bone was unleashed to the extreme. The time energy in the air seemed to turn from formless to corporeal, permeating the space. Qin Wentian could sense the flow of time in the surroundings and control this energy to the extreme. However, he still had no way to achieve absolute stillness. Yu Changkong's attack was extremely violent and terrifying. Only the gigantic devil head remained in the sky. Even the power of stillness had no way to break it, but it still managed to slow down the speed at which it was devouring Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's body had already arrived before Yu Changkong. Yu Changkong's eyes flickered with an extreme coldness, gleaming with an evil light. Qin Wentian's eyes flickered with an icy killing intent, exuding an extremely powerful killing intent. Go to hell! Yu Changkong roared, his voice shaking the heavens and earth. That gigantic devil head radiated a heaven-shaking devouring energy. Qin Wentian only felt that he had no way to resist. His body directly came into contact with Yu Changkong. Yu Changkong's hands directly grabbed onto his body, frenziedly absorbing his energy. However, at the same instant, Qin Wentian, who had already accumulated his energy, shot out a life-reaping beam of light, piercing through Yu Changkong's devil body and into his body. This attack was akin to risking his life. Yu Changkong cultivated the evil devil art, and his nature had long since fallen. However, Qin Wentian also seemed to have gone crazy like him, unleashing this life-reaping attack with no regard for his own life. At this moment, Qin Wentian felt that the energy in his body was about to be devoured. His body, his flesh and blood, everything was about to be devoured. However, Yu Changkong's situation didn't seem to be any better than him. At this moment, Yu Changkong felt that he was no longer a living being. This feeling was very strange, causing him to feel terror in his heart which he hadn't felt for a very long time. After cultivating the evil devil art, how powerful was he? After devouring the energy of countless experts, his current combat prowess was unrivaled below the deity realm. He felt that if he fought against Qin Wentian again, he who had sold his soul would be able to crush Qin Wentian. But in reality, that wasn't the case. He had no way to tell exactly what sort of energy had entered his body, but there was no doubt that it was there. In addition, it made him feel that his life was about to come to a halt, unable to advance any further. What did this mean? This meant that he was dead. His life was no longer flowing. Maybe this was even more terrifying than death. Did he sense it as well? In another space, the supreme world overlord of the prison god clan, Guichan, silently mused. Clearly, this attack that entered Yu Changkong's body was even more terrifying compared to the attack that struck his body earlier. No matter who it was, they would definitely not be willing to endure such a power. It was too bizarre and terrifying. That power, was it a seal on life? Wasn't this Qingcheng realm lord a little too crazy? Every time he attacked, he would risk his life. In fact, he might even be willing to exchange his life for Yu Changkong's. At this moment, many people's view of Qin Wentian underwent a slight change. For those who didn't understand him before this, at this moment, they all had a deeper impression of the Qingcheng realm lord, Qin Wentian. In the crowd, the bull demon had been observing the battle all this while. When he saw this scene, his eyes lit up with a dazzling radiance. His chance has finally arrived. His body soared up into the air, causing the earth to tremble. Devilox's speed was incomparably fast. In the blink of an eye, he appeared before the battlefield where Qin Wentian and Yu Chongkong were locked in a stalemate. What is he doing? Everyone was stunned when they saw this figure suddenly rushing over. In fact, they didn't even have time to react. Devilox roared loudly as his palms transformed into the sharpest blade, directly penetrating through Qin Wentian's back, into Qin Wentian's body. Elder brother. An incomparably terrified voice rang out in the air. Luo Xunlei was paying attention to the battlefield. When she saw Devilox's attack directly penetrating Qin Wentian's body, a look of incomparable terror appeared on her face as her heart pounded madly. Initially, she was fighting against the experts from the Qin clan, but at this moment, how could she still be in the mood? A terrifying palm imprint directly slammed into her, causing her to be flung through the air. Terrifying blood qi churned wildly as Luo Xunlei coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. However, her blood-colored eyes were still staring fixedly at Qin Wentian. In the past, she caused the death of Grandpa lifeless. Today, she was going to implicate her elder brother as well. His Dao bone is mine. A crazed look flashed in Devilox's eyes. He wanted to seize Qin Wentian's Dao bone. This was an extremely rare opportunity. Life stop! Qin Wentian roared. The boundless energy in his body flowed in reverse as his Dao bone shone with an even more resplendent light. Boundless energy flowed into Devilox's body. At this moment, Devilox also entered the same state as Qin Wentian. He felt that his life force was about to stop flowing and he would die just like that. Such an attack, a sure kill attack, actually suffered a backlash from Qin Wentian's terrifying energy. This was something Devilox didn't expect. The three figures froze in the air as a strange silence descended. However, at this moment, the three experts from the Qin clan were all staring at Luo Xunlei. Earlier, when Devilox's attack pierced into Qin Wentian's body, Luo Xunlei called out a single word, elder brother. The relationship between her and Qin Wentian wasn't like what Yu Chongkong had imagined. Luo Xunlei referred to Qin Wentian as elder brother. Her elder brother wasn't surnamed Luoxin but was surnamed Qin instead. Qin, this was the surname of their Qin clan. Also, Luo Xunlei had an extremely deep connection with their Qin clan. Once, there was a traitor of their Qin clan, a supreme character who caused the entire Qin clan to tremble. He married a wife who was none other than Luo Xunlei's daughter. Her surname was Luoxin. That woman was the younger sister of the Sky Order heavenly deity, Luo Xunlei's aunt. At this moment, Luo Xunlei referred to someone from the Qin clan as elder brother. This elder brother of hers was the Qingcheng realm lord. He had extraordinary talent and obtained the recognition of a god king during the convention. After that, he was recruited by the Tiandao Sacred Academy and was ranked on the heavenly Dao rankings. Everything seemed to be pointing to a destination. How fast were their reactions? In an extremely short instant, they already connected the dots. Before this, they had never thought of this before because there were simply too many people with the surname Qin. How could they think of their own clansmen when a single Qin Wentian appeared? But for those with the surname Qin in the world, there was only one possibility for Luo Xunlei to refer to him as elder brother. That traitor of the Qin clan, that extremely powerful traitor. Qin Yuanfeng had a son. His son was right before their eyes. He was currently cultivating in the Tiandao Sacred Academy and had entered the world of reincarnation. When they thought of this, they felt a sense of absurdity. Things would actually be so dramatic. This was something they had never imagined even in their dreams. The daughter of the Sky Order heavenly deity from the Luoxin clan, Luo Xunlei, referred to him as elder brother. I didn't expect this, I truly didn't expect this. The three experts from the Qin clan turned their gazes to Qin Wentian. One of them spoke, I didn't expect that the traitor of our Qin clan back then, that supreme character, actually has a son. Also, his son is already so powerful. Is he here to take revenge on the Qin clan? The eyes of everyone flashed as they stared at the experts from the Qin clan. Earlier, they had also heard Luo Xunlei referring to Qin Wentian as elder brother. At this moment, when they heard the words of the experts from the Qin clan, they instantly thought of a person. In the ancient records of the various peak powers, there was a person who was extremely famous in the history of the Qin clan. His name was Qin Yuanfeng. Qin Wentian, you are actually Qin Yuanfeng's son. Aha, you are actually his son. The experts from the Qin clan laughed uproariously. The hearts of everyone in the surroundings trembled. A heaven son has already appeared in the Qin clan. Right now, the son of the traitor of the Qin clan has returned. The Qingcheng realm lord Qin Wentian. This crazy fellow, he was the son of the traitor of the Qin clan, Qin Yuanfeng, and the goddess of the Luotian clan. This was truly a dream. But now, before Qin Yuanfeng's son could take revenge on the Qin clan, before he rose to a sufficiently powerful level, would he die here? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.